I start by building Chase. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126. The smile gradually became more unbridled. Please subscribe, a new round of pretense has begun. Jinxi's legs are beautiful, long, round, and straight. To use the words on the internet, you can play with these legs for a year and never get tired of them. After a long time, Lin Chen seemed to understand what Jinxuan meant. Indeed, black stockings should be considered a type of socks. These are stockings. Jinxi replied. Wearing so little is really against the customs. Jinxuan's face was full of contempt. Jinxi. There was no reason to refute. In the eyes of the indigenous Tianxing race, wearing stockings was indeed against the customs, just like Princess Jinxuan at the moment, who always had 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. Then what are you going to do? To eat outside. Lin Chen said. Can you take me with you? Yes. No. Jinxi's beautiful eyes were filled with anger. The next day, the visiting delegation of the Tianxing race was specially dressed up and taken away by officials who acted as tour guides to visit some gymnasiums, science museums and other places. So these indigenous Tianxing races were shocked again. At the same time, they are also deeply attracted by modern life, such as takeaway, express delivery, WeChat payment, the internet, etc. This is too amazing. Incredible. Jin Shenping was increasingly shocked by the background of the Wangxi Empire, so he had to agree more with Jinxuan's proposal and must send people here to study. He whispered, Jinxuan, this time you take those college students of our Tianxing race to do their best to learn more knowledge here. Yes, father, our Tianxing race will never be slaves. Jinxuan spoke seriously. Not long after, the Tianxing executives were taken to Jingminjuan's mansion to decorate the manor. After the 2 executives discussed the cooperation project after the talks, the atmosphere was relaxed for a while. Finally, Jing Shenping said, Mr. Jing, we hope to get the opportunity to study abroad in the Wangxi Empire. That's fine. Jingminjuan agreed very readily. Who told the Tianxing race to be rich and powerful? As long as it can be solved with various resources, it will never say a word. Such a friend, generous. Lin Chen was not interested in these topics. After a few words, he found an excuse to leave. He wanted to go home and take a look. Neither Jingminjuan nor Jing Shenping had any complaints about this. In the suburbs of Jinxi, Lin Chen returned to the doorstep of his home again. He suddenly stopped, because he felt a sense of time illusion. All the environment had not changed, only the people had changed. The last time he left, he changed his original lifestyle, and he also changed, becoming more like a person. What are you, the son of a steel factory, brewing at the doorstep? Jinxi asked. I'm going home, why are you following me? Lin Chen said. Come to your home to see, you also know my situation, there, it's better to go home with you and feel the long-lost atmosphere. What atmosphere? Home. The 2 walked inside. The guard was about to stop them, but when he stood there, his whole face suddenly became more expressive, his eyes widened, and his big mouth had become an odd shape. Shocked, confused, stupid. Damn, awesome. The guard hurriedly took a photo of Lin Chen and Jinxi's backs with his mobile phone, and sent it to the chat group. After receiving the news, many workers' first reaction was disbelief, and the second reaction was that it was absolutely impossible. However, when they saw the photos, many people were shocked. Lin Chen brought a girlfriend back. So he is not a gay. Awesome, I know she must be very beautiful just by looking at the back of this girl, she must look like my daughter. I have always believed that Lin Chen would bring us a beautiful boy, but I didn't expect that he would bring us a beautiful woman. It's not easy. Soon after, the whole steel plant was in an uproar. In the end, the rumors became more and more outrageous, saying that he brought a pregnant girlfriend back, and that he brought a child back, and the child could talk. There were all kinds of versions, and they were all very reasonable. Here, Lin Chen's father, Lin Hanqiu, was visiting his brother-in-law Ma Jian. Suddenly, a phone rang. After Lin Hanqiu answered the good news call, he sat on a chair and fell into deep thought with a suspicious look on his face. What kind of mess is this? How could he become a grandfather without knowing it? Brother-in-law, did something happen at home? Why do you look so worried? Ma Jian saw that Lin Hanqi was absent-minded, and he knew that he must be worried. I seem to be a grandfather now. Lin Hanqi touched his head, looking puzzled. Puff Ma Jian started the water spray mode. Lin Chen's aunt and cousin were also shocked and unbelievable. The weird atmosphere was spreading. Ma Jian whispered. Didn't they say that Lin Chen went to the place? It's only been a few months. Could it be that the people there have a short pregnancy period? I'd better go home and take a look first. Lin Hanqi immediately stood up excitedly. What aliens or not, as long as Lin Chen brought back a female. As long as it wasn't a beautiful boy, he felt that he was very satisfied in this life. At this time, Lin Chen pushed the door familiarly and unfamiliarly and entered his long-lost home, saying, "Mom, I'm back." The villa was quiet for a few seconds, and then a middle-aged woman with a charming and well-maintained skin came down from upstairs. "My son is back." Mother Lin was delighted, but her expression turned ugly the next second because she'd found an extra person, a very beautiful woman. She said in a deep voice, "You kid, you didn't tell me in advance that you brought a friend." Lin Chen. Jiangxi took a deep breath, suppressed the nervousness in her heart, and smiled. "Hello, Auntie, my name is Jiangxi, you can just call me Xing." "Hello, Xi." Mother Lin's face was stiff, and she greeted Jiangxi in a very roundabout way, and let Jiangxi into the living room. She looked at Jiangxi with more and more satisfaction, big breasts, long legs, and a perky butt, perfect. After a while, Lin Hanqi also rushed back from outside. When he saw Jiangxi sitting on the sofa, he was immediately shocked and ecstatic. Lin Chen, this little bastard, actually brought back a big beauty. "Where are you from, girl?" "Dad, he is the eldest princess of the empire." Lin Chen felt a headache, the old couple was too enthusiastic. Lin Hanqi was ecstatic again. "My son is amazing, he was able to bring the eldest princess back without making any noise, it must be my seed, follow me." But then, Lin Hanqi's smile disappeared. This eldest princess and the Princess Jiangxi who often appeared on TV did not seem to be the same person. Was there a mistake? Jiangxi felt embarrassed and regretted that she should not have come to Lin Chen's house in advance, so she smiled and said, "That's my sister. I have been a doctor in the 4th Army, so it's normal that you don't know." So that's the case. Even so, Lin Hanqi and his wife were still very satisfied with Jiangxi. When Lin Chen's family was having a good time, a group of scientific research teams from the Jianmeng Empire airborne to a large canyon. According to a report from an adventure hiker, there is a huge spaceship here. This scientific research team came to the place marked on the map by the hiker under the protection of armed personnel. When the vines were pulled apart, everyone was shocked. What is that? It's really a spaceship. Oh my god, judging from the environment here, this spaceship has existed for at least 500 years. What an amazing technology, it is estimated to be at least 1,000 years ahead of our Jianmeng Empire. The news was true, and it was immediately highly valued by the Jianmeng Empire, and began to be reported through layers of authorities. Finally, Mecha hurried into the office of Emperor Pussy. Pussy has been sleeping on straw and eating bitter food recently, and he has not been depressed by the blow from the Turkey Kingdom. Now he believes that even if the dangerous wanderers are not strong, they can still win over the Wangzi Empire in terms of quantity. And he thinks that the second generation of dangerous wanderers is not good, so he will develop the third generation of Mecha. In short, with the strength of the Jianmeng Empire as the world hegemon, isn't it easy to surpass the Wangzi Empire in the field of Mecha? Suddenly a man broke in without knocking on the door. After seeing who it was, Pussy was furious and said, "Oh, fuck, Mecha, why are you an idiot again? Sorry, there is a big discovery." Mecha's face was filled with joy. Pussy crossed his hands in front of his chest, quietly watching the next performance of this idiot Mecha. "We found a spaceship in the XXX Grand Canyon." Pussy thought it seemed a bit interesting, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. According to calculations, that spaceship can be at least 1,000 years ahead of our world. As long as we can make some progress in research, improving the third generation Mecha will no longer be a problem, and even immigration to other planets will not be a problem. Mecha spoke in a low voice seriously. Pussy glanced at the azure globe on the desk and his smile gradually became more and more presumptuous. "It seems that I can no longer be low-key in the future." Chapter 127 Aliens? Tentacle Monsters. A spaceship with a technology that is 1,000 years ahead of others, Pussy had no idea how much value it could create. But he knew that with this spaceship, he would definitely beat the Wangzi Empire in various ways in the future. secretly transport the spaceship back to the underground research base. As long as I have it, I will definitely make the monsters come and go. Pussy smiled. 2 days later, the mysterious alien spaceship was secretly transported to the secret military research base of the Jianmeng Empire. After a series of smashing and destruction, the door of the spaceship was finally removed. The scientists rushed into the spaceship at the first time and looked at all the technological instruments inside. Soon, they made an amazing discovery. There were alien creatures in the culture cabin, and the alien creatures were covered with tentacles all over their bodies. Oh my god, there are aliens in the culture cabin, so many tentacles. Sure enough, the aliens are all tentacle monsters. How do these aliens reproduce? That Professor Ptilina, why do you women see alien tentacle monsters and can't help but close your legs tightly together? After a short period of detection, the scientists of the Jianmeng Empire were breathing rapidly. This spaceship is a spaceship that can function normally. After precise calculation, it is 958 years ahead of the Blue Star. This spaceship carries a lot of technology. Although the Jianmeng Empire has obtained this complete alien spaceship, it cannot fly to outer space with the current technology because the door has been removed. After receiving the news, all the high-level officials of the Jianmeng Empire rushed here from all directions. An emergency meeting was held. I will tell you a surprising news. The head of the base spoke and told all the information from the spaceship. A complete spaceship has many advanced technologies, such as power engine technology, quantum defense technology, space technology, etc. These precious technologies can not only make the Jianmeng Empire's Mecha more than several times more powerful, but also be used for people's livelihood, medical care, etc. As long as they are thoroughly studied, immigration to outer space is not a problem. At present, the monster disaster is no longer a worrying problem, and interstellar immigration is no longer a fantasy. The Jianmeng Empire has gone through a period of depression and has become awesome. What I said is not empty talk. The head of the base said again at last. After that, the whole conference room became quiet. After listening to the speech, many people were surprised and began to breathe fast. Everyone was so excited that they almost wanted to vent. If we have these technologies, our Jianmeng Empire's position as the world's hegemon will become even more unshakable. God has really been favoring our Jianmeng Empire. The Mechas of our Jianmeng Empire will be invincible in the future. Colonize outer space and let our people feel the charm of the Sea of Stars. The atmosphere of the entire meeting became lively for a while. Everyone was clapping their hands on the table and shouting excitedly, as if they had taken a drug and had nowhere to vent. Pussy looked at the alien projected on the wall and said in surprise, "Is this an alien? Why are there so many tentacles, just like the tentacle monsters in the evil cartoons?" Yes, when we found it, there were tentacle monsters in this spaceship, and our female Professor Priscilla seemed to have a fear from the heart since she saw these things. This tentacle monster still has signs of life. Pussy frowned. The tentacle monster didn't seem to be a good person. The meeting room was quiet. There are signs of life. The tentacle monster seems to be dormant in the incubator. We are currently planning to wake it up to get more technology. The head of the base asked. Compared to how to get intelligence and technology from its mouth, I think it is safest to kill it. Pussy's mind was smarter than ever at this moment, and he spoke coldly. Whether the Jianmeng Empire or the Wang's Empire is bigger, the Azure Star will not allow the alien tentacle monster to grow bigger. Why? Oh, fuck, you bunch of idiots, the aliens are nearly 1,000 years ahead of us in technology. If we wake it up, once the tentacle monster army is summoned, what can we do to stop it? If these tentacle monsters are evil creatures, it's okay for us men, but what about women? Pussy said. Everyone in the conference room couldn't help but look up to Pussy. He is worthy at being the emperor of the Jianmeng Empire, and he is far-sighted. If women fall into the hands of these tentacle monsters, it will be an unimaginable nightmare. What if my daughter Princess Aika falls into the hands of these tentacle monsters? Pussy added. Everyone. Finally, Pussy waved his hand and said, "Let's go and see the spaceship first." This core technology gatherer in place of the Jianmeng Empire is not only researching and manufacturing clays, but also researching the corpses of monsters, and now it is also researching spaceships. Pussy suddenly felt that his heart that wanted to show off began to get agitated again. Since it was a complete spaceship, he would drive it out for a stroll, and the whole world would know it. After a while, they came to the center of the secret base. The spaceship came into view. This spaceship was very large and round. It was a milky white behemoth with a radius of 2 to 3 meters or 100 meters. I don't know what metal it was made of. It flashed a dazzling light under the light. It was a very technological spaceship. This was a product that was ahead of the blue star for nearly 1,000 years. Oh, fuck, is this a spaceship? Why does it look similar to our dinner plates? Is it a fancy thing made by you, Mecha, to deceive everyone? Pussy looked a little unhappy. A spaceship should be a cool spaceship. This one in front of him is too disappointing. Are we going to drive this out in the future? Fuck, people who don't know would think that the Jianwang Empire is driving a big dinner plate. Not really. Mecha looked embarrassed. Later, when they entered the interior of the spaceship, the group finally got their wish and saw the alien tentacle monsters with their own eyes. There are 2 tentacle monsters in the 2 biochemical culture chambers. Pussy immediately shouted, "Quick, kill them, kill these 2 tentacle monsters." No one dared to guarantee that these 2 alien tentacle monsters would not transmit the coordinates of the Azure Star back to the alien planet, and no one dared to guarantee that the aliens were friendly. Bang, 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 dozens of guns vented their firepower at the culture chamber. The culture fluid in the culture chamber was decreasing. The tentacle monster was alive, awakened from hibernation by external forces, and opened its eyes. Bang, 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 another round of artillery fire. The tentacle monster died in the fragile period just after waking up, and everyone was relieved. But this spaceship was also activated, and a group of mysterious signals shot into the depths of the universe. Of course, all this could not be detected with the technology of the Jianwang Empire. Pussy saw the spaceship suddenly start up, and immediately laughed. Quick, familiarize yourself with the characteristics of this spaceship as quickly as possible. I want to announce to the world that the Jianwang Empire has entered the outer space age. He couldn't bear it anymore. This time it would definitely be an unprecedented show-off. Sorry, just now in order to be able to enter the spaceship, we have destroyed the entire spaceship, so we can't fly into outer space. Now we can only use it to research technology. Oh, fuck. Pussy covered his face with his hands. The head of the base said, "At present, we should use the fastest speed to research the technology here to make our mecha stronger. Eliminating monsters is the top priority." Pussy nodded in agreement and said, "Monsters will no longer be a threat in the future. Thanks to Hangover and Shiguan for the reward, and everyone's recommendation votes. Thank you." Chapter 128 by a Mecha. The Jianwang Empire soon had a new research direction. A spaceship that has been ahead of the world for nearly 1,000 years, so as long as some progress is made from it, it will be an unimaginable wealth for the Jianwang Empire. For example, if the technology of the spaceship is applied to the Mecha Dangerous Wanderer, can the combat power be doubled? In short, the current Jianwang Empire has a vision for the future. However, although this is the case, the Jianwang Empire has a good opportunity to develop technology, but the most unhappy one is Pussy. It is too depressing to show the powerful power of the Jianwang Empire in front of the global audience, but it has to be postponed. At the same time, many countries have not forgotten the disaster brought by the monster. The countries that bought the monster corpses from Turkey Kingdom have launched an unprecedented grand mecha building movement. Now the mainstream competition between countries is Mecha, who has more Mechas, and who is more powerful. Yenu Kingdom, formerly Wa Kingdom, this is an island country surrounded by water, and it is also a neighbor of the Wangzhen Empire. They had bought the corpses of monsters in Turkey Kingdom before, but they were blind in building Mechas and had no progress, so they had to turn their attention to the Wangzhen Empire. We must buy Mechas. If we can learn mecha technology from the Mechas of the Wangzhen Empire, then the Yenu Kingdom will have its own Mechas in the future. Instead of waiting for the monsters to come and being robbed by the 3 smelly hooligans who have Mechas. Alas! Emperor Songren of the Yenu Kingdom sighed deeply. The technology of the Yenu Kingdom has always been world-class, and its various high-precision technologies and high-tech technologies are well known all over the world, and are also technologies that other countries envy. But now, such a country does not even have a decent mecha, let alone the high-precision combat Mechas of the Wangzhen Empire. Even the crappy Mechas of the Polar Empire are not available. What the Yenu Kingdom currently has are 3 imitations of nondescript Mechas, and they can only move slightly when they are connected to a wire. It seems that we can't wait any longer. In his hand is a sea defense wall project proposed by the Minister of the Interior, also known as the Wall of Life. Because they are surrounded by the sea, the probability of being attacked by monsters is the greatest, so they are most serious about resisting monsters. Wall of Life. Build a giant fortress with a thickness of 100 meters to completely encircle the Yenu Kingdom. If we can't buy the mecha, then we have to spend countless resources to carry out the Wall of Life plan," said the Minister of Foreign Affairs. "Go to the Wangxi Empire to buy the best first," said the Minister of Internal Affairs. "That's right, you go to the Wangxi Empire in the name of trade. As long as you buy a mecha, we can also study the technology inside." So the Minister of Internal Affairs and External Affairs of the Yin Kingdom set off for the Wangxi Empire. The Yin Kingdom was right to prepare for a rainy day, because the monsters that had not appeared for several months appeared again, and one after another monsters emerged from the dimensional channel at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The scale of this time was not large, but it was high in level, mainly bullfrog beasts and four-winged lizard beasts. After a long time, the two of them came to the Wangxi Empire. After reporting to layers of departments, Xinglai, who was also the Minister of Foreign Affairs, finally met them in the reception room. The Ministers of Internal and External Affairs of the Yin looked at each other first, and then said directly, "Long time no see, Mr. Zhang. Long time no see. Our purpose is very simple. We hope that you can sell us a mecha, and we are willing to exchange technology, multiple technologies, as long as you like it, please ask. This is not good. We are all neighbors. In my opinion, when you were about to be attacked by monsters, we will definitely go to help you. Of course, compensation is necessary. After all, brothers should settle accounts clearly." Xinglai refused very tactfully. "To be honest with you, Mr. Zhang, our new country is also making Mechas, but we have encountered several problems, so we hope to find the answer from your mecha, so, please." The Ministers of Internal and External Affairs of the Yin put themselves in a very low position, and at the end, they all bent down to plead, because being saved by others with a mecha and having a mecha are two completely different concepts. "I'm sorry, I can't make the decision on such a big thing. Only that young man has the final say on whether to sell it or not." Xinglai smiled. "I hope you can think carefully. Sorry for disturbing you. We will come again tomorrow. In short, our new country will not let you suffer any loss. As long as you want it, our new country will definitely give it up with great pain." Then the two people from Yin country left the reception room. In the evening, Pussy heard that Yin country was buying Mechas from Wangxi Empire, and he immediately became anxious. A small bastard like Yin country actually wants to build Mechas? They don't deserve it. But he thought about it and decided to sell Mechas such as Mecha Horror-Killers to ease the tension of studying alien spacecraft and transforming Mechas. So he immediately calls the Emperor of Yin country, Songrin, and the meaning was simple: sell Mechas. What? Jianwang Empire agreed to sell us Mechas? After receiving the news, the Ministers of Internal and External Affairs were overjoyed and returned to the country immediately. "Look, this is the style of the Empire. I will never ask Wangxi Empire for anything again. They are really stingy." Not long after, the Ministers of Internal and External Affairs of the Yin country arrived at Jianwang Empire. "Hello. Hello." The Foreign Minister of Jianwang Empire personally greeted them with many officials, smiling and happy. With the spaceship, the progress of the research institute these days is quite amazing. It is said that they have already found a clue to make the mecha stronger, and they are in the process of transformation. Compared with the Terror Killer, this mecha can be said to be useless. Except for the large number of Mechas that can be used as cannon fodder, it is almost no use. So of course, this useless thing needs to be bought back by others as a treasure. The Yin Kingdom has played a very good leading role. As long as the Yin Kingdom buys the Terror Killer, other countries will definitely not sit still. Everything is so perfect. If you want to buy the Terror Killer, you can exchange it with materials. In the eyes of the Jianmeng Empire, the Terror Killer, this kind of garbage mecha, can be mass-produced, and it doesn't matter how many you build. Anyway, even if these countries want to study it, it will take a certain amount of time, not to mention that the Jianmeng Empire now has better ones, and they don't need these garbage at all. At present, Jianmeng Empire intends to make a wave of mecha money, and is not worried that no one will buy it, because although the performance of the Terror Killer is not very good, it can be regarded as a mecha. It is good to have a place to buy Mechas now. At least the Wangxi Empire and the Polar Empire will definitely not sell it. Later, it took several hours for the two sides to negotiate the purchase method and exchange it with real gold, silver and other heavy metals. "May I ask how much materials you plan to sell the dangerous wanderer to us?" asked the Yin Kingdom. The data of the second-generation mecha is still very unstable. In order to achieve the reputation of the buyers, we only sell the Terror Killer. "What, only sell the Terror Killer?" The representative of the Yin Kingdom was shocked. "Shouldn't the dangerous wanderer be sold?" Now the whole world once doubted whether the Terror Killer belongs to the ranks of Mechas. After all, the Terror Killer is too ugly, just like a big spider. The performance is even more disappointing. Since its launch, it has not killed a monster, not even a small lizard beast. So what's the point of buying a useless thing like the Terror Killer? Thanks to Xiantianhe for the reward, and the recommendations from brothers and sisters. Thank you everyone. Chapter 129. Once you make a move, it will definitely be a shocking. Moreover, their original intention this time was to buy a wandering dangerous man for research, not to buy a useless Terror Killer for research. You don't want to buy it. To be honest, although the Terror Killer is not very powerful, it is still a mecha, and once it is formed into a scale of thousands, if a monster comes, you take out thousands of Terror Killers at once. What will happen to the monster? The foreign minister of Jianmeng Empire asked with a smile. The monster will come but never come back. The officials of Yin Kingdom replied immediately. Yes, now only our Jianmeng Empire sells Mechas, so if you don't buy, there will be many people waiting to buy them later. Buy, we will buy too. In the end, the two parties signed a Mecha sales agreement, and each Terror Killer will be sold for 60 tons of gold. Everything is in the plan of Jianmeng Empire. Perfect. Selling Terror Killers to raise resources for the subsequent dangerous wanderers and research on alien spacecraft. The day after the delivery of the Mecha to Yin Kingdom, Jianmeng Empire announced the transaction with Yin Kingdom in a high-profile manner. The Jianmeng Empire and the Yin Kingdom have reached an in-depth trade, and now they have successfully traded two Mechas, the Terror Killer. Once this news was released, the world was in an uproar. Although the Terror Killer is not very good, it is still a mecha. At present, many countries that are researching and manufacturing Mechas and intend to manufacture Mechas have begun to be active. Now only the Jianmeng Empire has Mechas for sale. Maybe buying a mecha back can solve many problems. So does it mean that if you go too late, there will be no more? Pussy seized this opportunity to show off in a high-profile manner. He held a press conference. In a very short period of time, it attracted thousands of reporters from all over the world. At the beginning of the press conference, the atmosphere was quite good, and various flashes never stopped. A reporter asked the most concerned topic, how is a Terror Killer mecha sold? It is barter, 65 tons of gold for a Terror Killer. If the order is large, our Jianmeng Empire will definitely give a discount. Pussy was silent for a while, and now he couldn't help showing off. He took a deep breath and talked about the reporter's questions, and his golden hair fluttered. Oh, everyone. They were embarrassed in an instant. Do you think you are shopping in a mall? There are discounts for large quantities. Jianmeng reporter asked at the right time. May I ask the destination of selling Mechas? Is it for the Jianmeng Empire to take the lead and let the world fight against monsters together? Yes, an empire must have an empire's responsibility, just like the Jianmeng Empire. In order to enable the whole world to have the ability to resist monsters, we will now manufacture the Terror Killer mecha for countries to buy back for research, or directly resist monsters. Pussy smiled very properly and spoke with great righteousness, like a saint worshipped by the world. But in fact, saying this can beautify the image of the Jianmeng Empire, and it can also disgust the Wangzi Empire and the Polar Empire. This is perfect. At that moment, countless people in the Jianmeng Empire were cheering. Pussy's words made countless Jianmeng people feel the respect and envy from friends all over the world, because the land under their feet is a powerful and responsible Jianmeng Empire. Proud, countless people are proud. It is estimated that it will not be long before the Blue Star will be renamed Jianmeng Star. Wangxin reporter asked with a smile. Excuse me, can the terrorist killers sold by the Jianmeng Empire really give countries around the world the power to resist monsters? Do countries need to ask for help from the Wangxi Empire next time after buying terrorist killers? Provocation. This hateful Wangxin reporter is provocative. Countless Jianmeng people were trembling with anger. Looking at the other party's smile, Pussy wanted to pin this reporter from the Wangxi Empire to the ground and beat him up. But after thinking about it, he decided not to. Although the strength of the Terror Killer is not ideal, it can at least allow countries around the world to have the power to resist monsters. As long as the Terror Killer is used properly, it can definitely compete with monsters. Whether it is research or direct resistance to monsters, it is a good choice. In addition, the second generation of Mechas in our Jianmeng Empire are being transformed, and the combat power has been greatly improved. He glanced at the reporter Wangxin with confidence, and said confidently, "Humph, I will never ask for help in the future." Pussy's amazing speech opened a new door for many reporters. It also infected all Jianmeng people through live TV broadcasts. Look, This is the Great Jianmeng Empire. Although the first two attempts to pretend failed, the Mecha Dangerous Wanderer with greatly improved combat power will definitely be able to have a gorgeous transformation that will shock the world. At the same time, it also infected countries around the world, so they set off to the Jianmeng Empire to buy the Terror Killer. Although the actual performance of this mecha has been criticized for a long time, it is only sold in the Jianmeng Empire at present. At least it is a mecha, and it is still a very good choice as a research object. This is a sensational news, and there are such news every day. After being attacked by the Jianmeng Empire, the Wangzi Empire and the Polar Empire were caught in the crossfire for no reason, and their reputation plummeted. Now the world is talking about the good things about the Jianmeng Empire. For example, the Jianmeng Empire did not forget the world and sold precious Mechas in times of crisis, while the Wangzi Empire and the Polar Empire did not sell Mechas to the outside world, and the world has already hit some bad voices. But Pussy was already very happy. He gained both fame and fortune. Every day, a certain country came to buy Mechas. The garbage Mechas of the Jianmeng Empire are now making a lot of money. Among them, the most eye-catching is the neighbor of the Wangzi Empire, the Gakka country. The Gakka country is rich and powerful. It booked 300 Mechas at one time and planned to form a mecha power in the Asia-Pacific region. For such a generous customer, Pussy directly gave an extra one. The world was shocked by Liu Ngamo's generosity. They all gave Liu Ngamo a thumbs up. This old immortal has been silent for a long time without any news. It's really okay if he doesn't make a move, but once he makes a move, it will definitely be a stone-shattering move. That's right, Liu Ngamo knew that this opportunity was hard-won, so he booked 300 Terror Killer ones in installments. Not only that, after all the Terror Killers are delivered, he will announce to the world the title of Asia-Pacific Mecha Power, so as to join the ranks of collecting global protection fees. Therefore, the Kingdom of Gakka and the Jianmeng Empire entered the honeymoon period again. Wangzi Empire. After receiving this news, Lin Chen lost his voice. He suddenly wanted to sell Mechas, but suddenly his body was stunned, and strange knowledge flooded into his mind. Sell Mechas? Selling farts. There is nothing to envy about the mecha promotion held by the Jianmeng Empire, because the last thing the Wangzi Empire lacks now is resources. After all, there is an entire Kepler planet as a continuous resource backing. Soon, Jing who had been studying in the Wangzi Empire, brought several college students from the Tianxing race to visit the base, or to ask for help. After a series of shocks in the base, they looked at Lin Chen and asked in confusion, "Excuse me, Professor Lin, why is your world so crazy about buying Mechas? Shouldn't your world be prosperous and peaceful? You are just looking at the surface phenomenon. We have a disaster of monsters here." Lin Chen said. Monster disaster? Jing Xuan was stunned, and the female college students behind her were also stunned. Could it be that in this technologically advanced world, there is a disaster more terrifying than the Hun race? How terrible. Chapter 130. Is Liu Ngamo going to catch the last train to show off? The natives of the Tianxing race had never seen the new species of monsters, nor had they seen the terrifying aspects of monsters. After all, monsters had only appeared on the Azure Star for a short time. Monsters are actually a conspiracy from another world. Come with me. I'll take you to a place to see monsters. After saying this, Lin Chen took the four women into the data room. After a while, Jing Xuan and the other two women swallowed their saliva in the data room. Everyone's face turned pale with fear, their pupils shrank, and their mouths are turned into naught shapes. Because in this room, Lin Chen showed them a scene they would never forget. Oh my god, is this a monster? So big, so strong, and with purple-red skin. Oh so disgusting, it can even spray out terrifying energy substances. It's really a big monster. Hiss, this terrifying big monster looks so powerful. The four women in the data room screamed in fear, and their legs were so weak. In the projection played by Lin Chen, the horror of those monsters almost became the most terrifying nightmare in their lives. Now the disaster brought by the monsters is in my mind. I seem to understand why your world is so keen on those Mechas. Jing Xuan swallowed her saliva. The huge monsters are invulnerable to swords and guns. The conventional weapons of this world cannot effectively kill the monsters. If they appear in Tianxing country, I'm afraid that they will be completely unable to stop them. Lin Chen turned off the projection and smiled. Now you understand why those countries are so keen on Mechas. Jing Xuan nodded. Later, Lin Chen took them around and used his power to solve a few small problems. Then he sent them away in the evening. That night, Jiangxia rushed into Lin Chen's bedroom and said, "Lin Chen, I heard that you took Jingshuan and others to the data room to see monsters today, but they were so scared that their legs were weak. What did you show them?" Before she finished speaking, she was stunned and swallowed her saliva. It was so big and ferocious. It's the monster for them to see. It's not like you haven't seen it before. Can you get out now? Lin Chen was startled in a hurry, and his pants fell to the ground. He quickly covered his face. "If you want to cover it, cover your face." "I saw it all." Jiangxi's face was red. "Here." Because the Jianmeng Empire extorted a huge amount of resources from various countries, the production capacity of the Jianmeng Empire has exploded again. In order to meet the market demand for horror killers, Pussy immediately ordered people to increase the scale of production of horror killers. So as time went by, almost all countries in the world had Mechas, with fewer than one or two, such as the New Kingdom bought 2 for research, and more than hundreds, such as the Mecha Kingdom. When all 301 Mecha horror killers were delivered, Lungama signed a sales agreement with the Jianmeng Empire again and became a big customer for future purchases of horror killers. That's right, this time Lungama wanted to win big with a small investment. Although the 301 horror killers are not very powerful, when they are arranged in a row and use the energy contained in them to bombard monsters, the power they cause should never be underestimated. Our Gaga country has finally risen. Lungama wanted to laugh out loud. In the huge base, brand new terror killer was neatly arranged, and the huge aura made everyone feel terrified. Yes, the outside world laughs at our ignorance, but who knows that this time we are using the terror killer to win big with a small investment. The Minister of the Interior laughed. "From now on, recruit pilots for me. First recruit 800 pilots to make up 400 pairs. In addition, according to the advice of the Jianmeng Empire, we must start to manufacture a large number of monster targets for training." Lungama's restlessness in his heart was about to be suppressed. At present, Gaga country has leapt from an inconspicuous country to one of the few mecha powers in the world. They have 3 types of mecha. War Fortress, Kishan Rock Platform, modified from Excavator, Terror Killer. Looking at the world, Gaga country is the only country that can currently own 3 types of mecha. Proud. The great Gaga country has risen in the hands of the great Lungamo. I'll do it tomorrow. No, do it now. Lungamo's face sank. Time is running out now. Only when the driver has mastered the driving experience can he be qualified to collect cover fees from the world. After the Minister of the Interior left in a hurry, Lungama stretched out his hands and stroked the shell of the terror killer, as if he was stroking the smooth skin of a girl. The expression on his face immediately became rich, revealing an enjoyment that was difficult to conceal. This smooth and cold touch is so intoxicating. At present, things are surprisingly smooth. 301 terror killer Mechas have been obtained, and a purchase agreement has been signed with the Jianmeng Empire. Lungama suddenly felt that he could no longer keep a low profile. He must earn a wave of eyeballs to let the world know the strength of the Gaga Kingdom. That night, the Gaga Kingdom held an unprecedented press conference in a high-profile manner. At the press conference, Lungama officially announced with a smile on his face, "Gaga Kingdom has become a mecha power and is now capable of protecting the world from the threat of monsters." At the same time, he called on all countries to actively respond to Gaga Kingdom's protection. At this moment, Lin Chen looked at Jiangxia in astonishment. Pussy covered his face with his hands and said weakly, "Fuck." Nicholas threw the teacup in his hand onto the TV with a blank expression. However, countries around the world were in an uproar after receiving the news. Old immortal Lungama has been silent for a long time. Is he finally unable to sit still? Is he planning to catch up with the last train of pretense? What does this mean? That old guy Lungama is drunk from drinking cow urine and hasn't woken up yet, right? Old immortal Lungama has boundless magic power. The kingdom of Gaga always subverts my 3 views. But after everyone reacted, they were silent and realized Lungama's wishful thinking. He planned to use quantitative changes to cause qualitative changes. It must be said that this tactic seems to be very feasible. Damn, this old guy Lungama is really smart. Many people were jealous and envious at the moment. Although the surface of the country of Gaga is poor, the underground resources are very rich. Even so, they have to pay in installments. It is conceivable how much resources will be spent to buy so many terrorist killers. Ordinary countries can't afford it. When the people of Gaga heard the news, they were boiling. Countless people shouted loudly and rushed to the streets holding up photos of Lungamo. Our Gaga country has risen. Have friends all over the world felt the powerful strength of our Gaga country? Our Gaga country finally has the ability to protect the world. Damn, why haven't the monsters come yet? I can't wait to see the expressions of our Gaga country that shocked the whole world. Mecha Empire. After receiving the news, Poseidon's face immediately sank. Fuck, it turns out that Lungamo is thinking of this. But after thinking about it, it doesn't matter, because the caliber of the energy cannon contained in the terrorist killer is too small. Secondly, even if Lungamo uses the Mechas he bought to undergo a gorgeous transformation, isn't this equivalent to helping the Mecha Empire advertise in disguise? The ultimate beneficiary will definitely be the Mecha Empire. Therefore, we should not only resist this practice, but also provide some help at the right time. On the other side, the secret research base of the Indu country. At this time, 1/4 of the scientific researchers of the Indu country gathered in this research base. Everyone stared at a brand new terror killer under their strong light with fiery eyes. Is this the terror killer? Although it has been criticized for a long time, its precision is still unimaginable. It seems that our Indu country still has a long way to go to get closer to the Mecha Empire. Now is not the time to talk, quickly dismantle it. Then, many scientific researchers immediately surrounded the terror killer, and they showed the tools in their hands, hammers, awls, cutters, etc. Seeing that everyone was cautious and worried, the person in charge of the base said, "Everyone, we bought 2 terror killers this time, so everyone can open their hands and feet." Chapter 131 You Dead Ghost. In order to solve the problem of the Indu Kingdom in the field of Mecha, the research on the terror killer officially began. In order for the Indu Kingdom to also create its own Mecha, a group of researchers began to disassemble the lonely terror killer with full confidence. Bang 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 don don don. In the first 10 days, every researcher was smiling and sweating profusely to disassemble that terror killer. On the 20th day, the smiles on the faces of every researcher disappeared, and they sweated profusely to study the terror killer. On the 30th day, every researcher's face was gloomy, sweating profusely, and anxiously looking at a pile of disassembled racks. In a month, these researchers have made no progress except that their appetite has increased and they've gained a few pounds. Why can't we research it out? What's going on? Is it that we are researching in the wrong direction? No, the terror killer has been disassembled. Why haven't we solved the problem of our Indu Kingdom's technology? The atmosphere suddenly became anxious. Not long after, the Emperor Songrin of the Indu Kingdom came to inspect the work happily. He was expecting that as long as the Mecha of the Indu Kingdom came out, then the Mecha Empire and the Wang's Empire would not be a problem, they would just be beaten. He even thought of the names advantages, such as Tiga, Taro, Kei, etc. As a result, as soon as he entered the research institute, he suddenly found this weird atmosphere, and what the hell was this pile of rubbish under his feet? He asked these researchers to find that technical problems that the Indu Kingdom was currently troubled by from the terrorist killers, not to let them study the rubbish here. What's going on? As the top scientists of the Indu Kingdom, how are you doing with your research now? Well, it seems that there should be a little progress in the research. The head of the base was not confident enough. Very good, the future hope of our Indu Kingdom lies in your hands. Can we introduce another batch of terrorist killers from the Mecha Empire for research? The head of the base said seriously. So this pile of rubbish is the dismantled terrorist killers? Songrin's face was full of disbelief. Yes, there is only one left that has not been dismantled, and it is estimated that it will not be enough. Songrin. Half a month passed in a flash. A new wave of monsters attacked again. When the energy connecting the two-dimensional channel dissipated again, the area near the channel was already full of monsters. This time the scale of the monsters exceeded the previous ones. Although there were not many monsters, they were all huge monsters. They headed towards the Wang's Empire and the Indu Kingdom. Because it was far away from the sea, the offshore sonar detection station could not detect the traces of monsters, so the world was still unaware of the news that monsters had come again, and other countries were still busy with their own things. For example, the Indu Kingdom finally took a small step in the field of Mechas. For this reason, the excited Indu Kingdom Emperor Songrin specially rewarded the researchers who worked hard in the research institute. They were allowed to go to the big bathhouse and have fun as much as they wanted. The kind of mixed bathing for men and women. Another example is a training base in the Gaga Kingdom. 301 terror killer were ready to go. In the distance, rows of huge targets with monsters printed on them rose. Go, tear those monsters to pieces. The instructor fired a gun. 301 Mechas rumbled and moved quickly, like a hungry wolf seeing a hare, with great momentum and grand scene. After a burst of dust, these Mechas tore the targets to pieces in a very short time. The second training project, running and shooting. Chirp, 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 countless energy cannons stretched out from the front of the terrifying killer, and then a row of monster target energy cannons were seen being smashed. Lungen's evaluation. This is a well-trained mecha unit. At present, the Gakka Kingdom is ready to fight at any time, and the only thing missing is the monsters to give points. The development potential of the Jianmeng Empire is even better. With the continuous material resources of various countries, they have made great progress in the research of spacecraft. In terms of Mechas, from the technology obtained from the spacecraft, they have found a way to greatly improve the combat effectiveness of the dangerous wanderer, and the aerospace engineering has not fallen behind, and they are preparing to build a milestone spacecraft to explore the mysterious universe. As for the Wangzi Empire, it is still in a state of salted fish. Because of the birthday of Princess Jingxuan of the Tianxing race, the Wangzi Empire held a secret and grand birthday party for the friendly trade between the two races and to show the importance of the Wangzi Empire to the Tianxing race. Many high-level officials from the Wangzi Empire came to participate, and many dignitaries from Kepler planet also came. During the banquet, the atmosphere was quite lively, especially for some people from the Tianxing race at the wine table. "Monk, you fucking leave some for me. How many boxes of cigarettes did you carry, loading? Look at the kid Xianfei, who was a little bit tall, and he fucking carries 2 bottles of Mao Tai. Old Kong heard that Mao Tai is not cheap." The scene was bustling, and the two races were like a family. Because of their special status, Lin Chen and others sat around the table with Jingxuan. But Jingxu on the side had an unnatural look since she sat down, and she was forcing a smile. She was sour, envious, and jealous. Thinking that Lin Chen actually gave Jingxuan a cannon phone with an ACL on it as a gift, she felt particularly uncomfortable. I have known Lin Chen for such a long time, but why have I never seen him give me anything? Thank you all, and thank you Wangzi Empire. My biggest wish is that Wangzi Empire and our Tianxing clan's Tianxing country can be peaceful and friendly forever. Jingxuan, the focus of the scene, stood up and expressed her wish. There was applause from the audience. Lin Chen blushed and took the opportunity to take out a lipstick. His ears were burning. He quickly put it into Jingxi's pocket at a speed faster than lightning, and whispered in a guilty voice. "Shit, this is." Jingxi also blushed instantly and said in a delicate voice, "You dead ghost." The applause stopped abruptly. The originally lively atmosphere suddenly became weird. Everyone was speechless. They were all looking at Jingxi eagerly. Is this still the graceful eldest princess Miss Ship? Not good. At this time, several black-clothed men came in a hurry. They came to the commander's side and Lin Chen's side respectively. Just now, the offshore sonar detection station has new data, 12 large monsters. On the side of the Wangzi Empire, many people were shocked. What, another monster has come in? But then, they couldn't help but look at Lin Chen, who was still sitting on the chair without any panic, and an invisible and powerful self-confidence instantly infected many people. Suddenly, many people couldn't help but feel a mysterious confidence. Monsters are not scary, even if they come, they are just giving points. Not to mention 12 monsters, even if 120,000 monsters appear together, the Empire can completely turn the monsters upside down with Lin Chen's excellent driving skills. However, 1 minute later, Lin Chen left in a hurry. The high-level officials of the Wangzi Empire. Immediately, the originally weird atmosphere became even weirder. Fortunately, the people of the Wangzi Empire knew what Lin Chen was going to do. But many people in the Tianxing race didn't react immediately. Many high-level people knew Lin Chen and thought that his hasty departure in such an occasion must have been due to something important. So after some inquiries, most of the Tianxing race were stunned. The monster was very strong, purple-red in color, and even spewed out energy substances. Is this really a monster? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 132. Pussy finished blowing, and Lu Ngumo started blowing. Why do I feel that the appearance of the monsters described by the Wangzi Empire seems to be very unique, which makes people think of some monsters? Yes, many men present couldn't help but shudder, and evil pictures suddenly appeared in their minds.
When Jing Xuan heard about the monster, her legs were immediately frightened again. She couldn't help but think of that big monster that Lin Chen showed her. It was so hideous and scary. Everyone, since you were all here, why don't we, the Wang's Empire, arranged for you to stay here for 2 days and see the monsters in this world? The high-level officials of the Wang's Empire suggested. Okay. The Tianxing race replied unanimously. After all the descriptions here, they also wanted to see what the monsters looked like. Not long after, Lin Chen hurried back to the base. Where is the monster? Which city did it land this time? Lin Chen asked. The control in the command room looked embarrassed and called up the data of the 27th offshore sonar monitoring station. On the big screen, 12 huge creatures were heading in the opposite direction of the Wang's Empire. The controller said. Just now, the monster suddenly turned right and went to the Endu Kingdom. Lin Chen took a deep breath, picked up the radio microphone and said, Everyone, pay attention, lift the combat readiness, the monster is going to the Endu Kingdom. At the time, a group of pilots had gathered and were waiting for the order to attack. Many crew members were hurriedly deploying the attacking mecha from the hangar. But as Lin Chen's voice sounded, everyone was speechless. Could it be that the monster has evolved again and has begun to understand the principle of picking the weak persimmon? This side. The Emperor of the Endu Kingdom, Song Rin, was lying on the bed in the office, enjoying a foot massage from a beautiful female technician. Suddenly, the Minister of the Interior rushed in. He's comfortable. What's the matter, so flustered? Is there any new progress in our mecha? Song Rin had a look of enjoyment on his face. No, it's the monster coming towards us. The Minister of the Interior looked serious. What? Didn't the monsters go to the Wang's Empire before? Why are they coming to us? I don't know. The monsters suddenly changed their direction. According to the forecast, they should land in Chenki City. Song Rin suddenly shuddered all over, sat up and said, Quick, contact the Wang's Empire. Then a hurried call was made to the Wang's Empire. After consultation, the Wang's Empire said that it did not need material compensation, but personnel compensation. Okay, the women in our Yin country are docile. Song Rin almost gritted his teeth and said, No, we want 120 of your scientists. You bunch of vampires, we will never agree. Song Rin roared and hung up the phone. If it were just women, the Yin country could agree, but the group of scientists is the most precious wealth of the Yin country and must not be handed over. But the monster invasion is imminent, so at this time he also set his sights on the Jianmeng Empire. A call was made to Pussy. I'm sorry, our dangerous wanderers are being transformed, and the current strength is not enough to eliminate the monsters. Pussy implicitly refused. After hanging up the phone, Song Rin was full of sorrow. Now, the Jianmeng Empire can no longer be counted on. The strength of the Polar Empire's Wintermal and Mecha is not good, and the Wang's Empire is a group of vampires, and they are actually planning to take advantage of the scientists of the Indo Kingdom. No, we must not agree to the request of the Wang's Empire. But who else can we count on except the Wang's Empire now? Why don't we just agree to the Wang's Empire? As long as the mecha is successfully manufactured, we can negotiate with the Wang's Empire to get our scientists back in the future. The Minister of the Interior said. Song Rin waved his hand. You go and organize the people to evacuate in advance. I will think carefully about whether to agree to them. Soon after, the Yin Kingdom began to implement the plan for the evacuation of the people of Chenki City, and various channels began to announce that the monster will land in Chenki City tomorrow morning. The citizens now have to announce as sad news. It is expected that the monster will land in Chenki City at around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now notify the residents of Chenki City and the surrounding residents to evacuate to the open area quickly. Once the news was reported, the entire Chenki City and even the entire Yin Kingdom panicked. The thing they least wanted to happen is about to happen. Are the monsters really come in? In fact, we are very lucky. We are surrounded by the sea. For such a long time, there'll only be one monster attacking us tomorrow. Countries around the world will definitely not stand idly by. If the Indo Kingdom perishes, the movies and TV shows favored by men all over the world will be gone from then on. After receiving the news, countless residents of Chenki City and the Yin Kingdom rushed to flee the dangerous city. At the same time, the eyes of the whole world were all on the Indo Kingdom. There are new monsters again. The world was shocked. At the time, Lun Gamo of the Garka Kingdom smiled immediately after receiving the news. It seems that God is helping our Garka Kingdom. After 1.5 months of training, the pilots can already control 301 Mechas excellently, and they've also comprehended the tactical essence of destroying monsters. Now, all that is missing is a wave of monsters to make a gorgeous turn for the Darker Kingdom. Now, aren't the monsters come in? Lun Gamo immediately contacted the Yin Kingdom with full confidence. He smiled and said, Mr. Songrin, are you facing the trouble of monster invasion? Don't worry, we in the Darker country already have hundreds of Mechas, and we can use the considerable number of energy cannons to completely eliminate the monsters. After Lungama said this, the faces of the high-level officials of the Yin country suddenly darkened. This time, Pussy will not brag. Is it Lungama's turn to brag? Thinking of the war fortress that this old guy had boasted about before, it was finally ruthlessly beaten by the cruel reality. All the high-level officials of the Yin country immediately got angry and had a bad premonition in their hearts. Don't believe it, absolutely don't believe the nonsense of this old guy Lungamo. Sorry, we have reached an agreement with the Wangxin Empire. Songrin rejected Lungamo's kindness very implicitly. Mr. Songrin, our Darker country has developed a tactic that can destroy monsters. You should have seen before that energy cannons can effectively kill monsters. When 300 terrifying killers with energy cannons use guerrilla warfare to continuously consume monsters, Lungama boasted a lot, and then he even brought in Pussy's guaranteed for the energy cannon. Many high-level officials of the Yin country were overjoyed. Darker country is awesome. It has developed a tactic to deal with monsters just like the Wangxin Empire. They thought about it. They felt that this tactic was very feasible. After all, the energy cannon had a good record before, and Lungamo's tactic was guerrilla warfare plus a large number of people to continuously consume monsters. But what if? Songrin was still worried in his heart. Don't worry, our Darker Kingdom calculates the reward based on the monsters destroyed. Even if we fail to destroy the monsters in the end, your country can still ask for help from the Wangxin Empire. Okay, we agree. Please send Mechas to help us as soon as possible. Please. Songrin was overjoyed and no longer had any worries. He immediately agreed. The most important thing is that the reward from Darker Kingdom is cheap. Lun Gama was also ecstatic. This time, he must make a stunning debut to shock the whole world. Chapter 133 Don't roll over again, please subscribe, friends, don't keep it. Under the crisis of Yin country, the support of Darker country was very fast. 3 aircraft carriers sailed through the waves carrying 301 long-awaited terrorist killers, heading toward Chenki city of Yin country. This time, Lun Gamo vowed that from now on, he would make the whole world a potential customer of Darker country. Darker country plays the price card, and this is the advantage of Darker country. As long as it is cheaper than other countries, there will be no worries about the opportunity to collect protection fees in the future. At this time, the Emperor of Yin country, Songrin, appropriately threw out this good news. Darker country's Mecha will soon support us, and the tactics they've developed are a natural counter to monsters. As soon as this news came out, the whole Yin country and the whole world were shocked. Damn, Darker country is awesome. Just like the Wangxin Empire, it has also developed tactics to deal with monsters. Wangxin Empire. A small yacht is parked near the coast. Many drivers rarely come out to relax once, and one fishing hook after another sinks into the sea, waiting for the fish to take the bait, and there is a lot of discussion. I heard that the Darker country has also developed a tactic to destroy monsters. With the terrifying killer, I absolutely don't believe it. Yes, the legendary deeds of the war fortress are still vivid in my mind. The pilots were all relaxed. As they talked, they looked at Lin Chen. After getting on the yacht, he sat there alone, as if he was in deep thought. Everyone habitually didn't disturb him. At the time, Lin Chen was indeed looking at the system panel, deep in thought. System panel. Host. Lin Chen. Task 1. Stop the invasion of monsters and crush the aliens' conspiracy. Task 2. Be able to dominate a force. Task completion rate 20%, fan value 180 million. Of the 2 tasks, Lin Chen can infer that the first task should be completed as long as the monsters don't appear again, but the second task. After thinking for a long time, he thought it should be the size of his power in the Empire, but Lin Chen was not very enthusiastic about power, so this task seemed to be a long way off at the moment. Finally, Lin Chen turned his attention to the knowledge classification of the system mall. The scientists of Azure Star are not stupid. The reason why they have not entered the stage of exploring the universe is because they are affected by the limitations of the times.
What Lin Chen did was to break the limitations of this era and let scientists see the charm of the sea of stars and the strange material elements in the universe. Consume 10 million fans to exchange for 100 years of aviation development knowledge. Suddenly, a lot of strange knowledge was added to Lin Chen's mind. And this knowledge is 100 years ahead of Azure Star, and it all involves aviation development. As long as scientists can understand all this knowledge thoroughly, and then exchange it for the design of a spacecraft, won't it be easy to explore the universe? After exchanging the knowledge book, Lin Chen was refreshed and felt that as long as he wrote down all the added knowledge in his mind, it might not be the same as the Western Bible. Seeing that Lin Chen stopped thinking, someone whispered, "Professor Lin, I heard that the country of Gaga has developed a tactic to eliminate monsters. Is it really possible?" "It should be possible. I guess it should be to use energy cannons to continuously consume monsters, but this process may cause large-scale damage," Lin Chen said. Suddenly, many people were stunned. "Large-scale destruction?" Lin Chen said. "It is precisely because of the continuous consumption of monsters that they will be more angry, and I think this process will only turn the cities of the new country into ruins faster." When everyone heard it, they immediately understood. In other words, whether it is in the end or not, Yenu country will come for help. "I thought I could blackmail them again." Hilly. Everyone laughed obscenely. Lin Chen said, "Drive the ship back." Everyone was puzzled as to why they were suddenly in a hurry to go back, but they still did it. Yi Chuan came over with an ambiguous look on his face and smiled in a low voice. "Professor, I heard that you gave Miss Xia a gift." What was Miss Xia's reaction? Lin Chen immediately looked sad. "I was afraid that she would feel unbalanced, so I gave her something out of kindness, but she ended up calling me a dead ghost. So angry." After returning to the base, Lin Chen immediately turned on the computer and entered the typewriter mode, ready to type out all the aerospace knowledge in his mind in the shortest time. The speed of typing on the keyboard was so fast that it was outrageous. Jiangxi behind him looked at Lin Chen's hand speed with disbelief. "These hands are so fast." Lin Chen's favorite thing to hear right now is the click sound of typing on the keyboard. This feeling of presenting all the knowledge in his mind with words is so refreshing and thorough. Is there anything more interesting than typing on the keyboard? Besides, Jiangxi is not as fun as typing on the keyboard. She can't even make such a wonderful click sound. Click this sound of typing on the keyboard. For Lin Chen, it is simply the sound of nature and the most pleasant melody. As time went by, Jiangxi realized what Lin Chen was typing. Although the content of the text on the computer was difficult to understand, she could also see a little clue: aviation knowledge. Jiangxi was both happy and annoyed. She was happy that Lin Chen kept his original promise and never forgot it. She was annoyed that what was in the mind of this beast was that he actually planned to build a rocket to send himself to the moon to settle. "Are you building a spaceship to the moon?" Smelling the fragrance of the wind beside his ears, Lin Chen smiled and said, "No, the world outside is huge. When the spaceship is built, let's go see the magnificent universe. Damn it, don't be too tired, go to bed early." Jiangxi's anger suddenly disappeared, and she found that Lin Chen was becoming more and more like a human now. Lin Chen. The next day. Here, the Yin Kingdom was about to be invaded by monsters, attracting the attention of the world. The Emperor of the Gaga Kingdom, Lun Gummo, was full of confidence in helping the Yin Kingdom this time, so he flew the satellite directly over the Yin Kingdom and started the global satellite live broadcast again. This time it was the turnaround of the Gaga Kingdom, and the world must know it. The global audience reached 2 billion people. Most of the audience were eager to see how the Gaga Kingdom turned over this time. Now all we have to do is wait for the monster to appear. Emperor Songren of the Yin Kingdom was worried and contacted Lun Gummo again, saying, "Is it really okay?" Lun Gummo smiled confidently, "Don't worry, our guerrilla tactics can easily kill the monster, and from the simulated data, the monster is bound to die." Songren breathed a sigh of relief and smiled, "That's good." At present, he is most afraid of a live broadcast failure. After all, no matter who has boasted and shown great power to the world before, they will eventually fail mercilessly. This time, I hope that the army composed of mecha terrorist killers of the Gaga Kingdom will never fail in the Yin Kingdom. Thanks to Kai Baola and Nanshan Kai and Mo the 11th for their rewards. And friends for their recommendation votes. Thank you. Chapter 134. Geikaguo feels that he is doing well again. Friends, don't keep reading, just read it appropriately. But Lungamo didn't care about Songren's worries.
Now he was determined to show off and give an unprecedented gorgeous performance in front of the eyes of the whole world. After preparation, on the shore of Yindu country, 301 terrifying killers were waiting in a serious state, waiting for the moment when the monster appeared to give a fatal blow. Such a large lineup, although the actual effect is not very good, at least from the appearance and the momentum of the scene, it gives people a psychological effect that cannot be underestimated. For this reason, Lungamo also specially selected several of the best female hosts in Gaga country to be on-site commentators, so as to let the people of Gaga country remind themselves of the pride and confidence of being Gaga country. At this time, when the satellite image zoomed in, the host excitedly said, "Dear audience, the ship that is now on the shore and waiting for battle is our Gaga country's pride, the Terror Killer. It can be seen that the drivers of each Terror Killer have undergone special training. Now they are controlling Gaga's weapons to show the world that we have the full ability to destroy any monster. These iron divisions are not afraid of monsters. When the new country is about to invade, they turn into a torrent of steel to tell the world with actual proof that Gaga country adheres to courage, compassion, and justice, and will defeat one monster after another, protecting Yin country and the world." The host's voice spread throughout Gaga country through the TV. The people of Gaga clenched their fists excitedly, and the excitement in their hearts prompted them to cheer. Only a strong country has the ability to destroy monsters, and our Gaga country is undoubtedly the most dazzling one this year. Gaga country has risen. Perhaps friends around the world are still laughing at our war fortress, but we have finally achieved a great rise after enduring hardships. Yes, this is the second legend of Gaga country after the motorcycle mobile unit. The emotions of countless Gaga people were mobilized, and they surged with infinite confidence. Monsters are not scary. In the future, Gaga country will shoulder the burden of protecting the world and become the center of the world, so that friends all over the world can feel the true charm of Gaga country. Here we have the world's best calorie drink, the most advanced motorcycle mobile unit, and the largest number of terrifying killer armor units. Then, at the moment of everyone's tension, the monster appeared. The calm seawater set off huge waves one after another, and monsters comparable to mountains appeared from the sea one after another. At this moment, all the audiences around the world couldn't help holding their breath. On the shore, there were many terrifying killers, and the aura was quite strong, but now everyone couldn't help but doubt whether these terrifying killers were really able to wipe out all these monsters. The Tianxing race in the Wangxi Empire were in a hall. When everyone saw the monsters on the screen, their faces changed drastically and their legs went limp with fear. Damn it, I wonder if the 2nd Battalion Commander's Italian cannon can destroy these monsters? These monsters are so big, like mountains. No wonder people in this world are so keen on Mechas. Can these monsters really be destroyed? They are so scary. Everyone was swallowing their saliva. Sure enough, they were exactly the same as the monsters described, strong and powerful, and purple-red, ferocious and terrifying. Here, the Yin Kingdom temporarily built a refuge area for the residents of Chenki City. Countless residents watched the TV nervously, extremely worried about the situation outside, whether the terrorist killers outside could destroy the monsters and protect the property of Chenki City. Everyone was staring. On the screen, rows of terrorist killers were waiting in full battle array, ready to give their opponents a fatal blow at any time. But when the screen turned to the sea level, as expected, 12 monsters comparable to giant mountains appeared together. Every time they moved, they could bring about a tsunami, and they were approaching Chenki City step by step. An invisible sense of oppression penetrated the screen and attacked everyone's heart. Can those terrifying killers really destroy the monsters? Countless people in the Yin country swallowed their saliva and began to waver in their hearts. At the time, 301 Mechas and 602 pilots were closely watching the speed of the monster's landing. The distance was getting closer and closer. The admonition of the Mecha instructor rang in the ears of every driver. As long as you attack the monsters according to the tactics, you will definitely be able to defeat the monsters. A mysterious confidence descended on the hearts of every driver. They are not those stupid and strong people who have such awesome weapons but have to pretend. Seeing that the monster is about to land, everyone prepared to open the energy cannon to store energy and fire a round of volleys. The instructor shouted. Then, each of the terrifying killers extended an energy cannon, and the muzzle was brewing energy, and the blue arcs were constantly gathering. 10 minutes later, the energy cannon finally finished storing energy and fired. Chirp, chirp, chirp. More than 300 beams of light hit or missed. Anyway, a monster was seriously injured on the spot. The blood immediately dyed the sea red.
Seeing this scene, many people in the Garka country were very happy on the spot. Wow, it's worthy of our Garka pilots. They can seriously injure a monster at the beginning of the war. It seems that the strength of monsters is just like this. From now on, our Garka country will really be a mecha power. It won't be long before our Garka country is the center of the world, and women all over the world will feel honored to marry into the Garka country. However, no one knew that it was this round of attacks that completely angered the 12 monsters that had just landed. Yin. The monsters roared frequently, and the sound waves seemed to tear the sky apart. Even Chenki City, which was far away in the refuge area, could vaguely hear it. An invisible fear was spreading, making everyone who heard the roaring sound terrified. The monsters began to go crazy. Some flew, some moved quickly, and they kept approaching the reptiles that injured their companions. The overwhelming momentum made everyone feel cold. Quickly retreat, use guerrilla tactics, go to Chenki City to hide in the buildings, and counterattack to consume the vitality of the monsters. With an order, the terrorist killer troops rushed to Chenki City, where the personnel had already evacuated. According to the tactics, they will start to fight the monsters next. In less than 5 minutes, all the terrorist killers entered the city. The reptiles began to flee, which undoubtedly angered the monsters even more. The ferocious monsters chased all the way into Chenki City. Did you think you couldn't find them if you hid in the buildings? The crazy monsters rushed all the way, and everything they passed was turned into ruins. The scene was comparable to the mess after a wild boar plowed the land. The tactics of the Garka kingdom began. 301 terror killers constantly used the buildings in the city as shelters to hide, and looked for opportunities to frequently fire energy cannons at the monsters. Here one building after another was pierced. The drivers of the terror killers would not care that this was Chenki City, because their mission was to destroy the monsters. The tactics proposed by Lin were very effective. From the current point of view, at least the monsters have been injured, and the terror killers have not been destroyed yet. However, half of the city has become a ruin. Although the tactics of the Garka kingdom worked, the residents of Chenki City hiding in the refuge area cursed loudly, because countless buildings were trampled or destroyed by both sides. The two groups of monsters and terror killers were still playing hide-and-seek in Chenki City, having a lot of fun. Chapter 135. What's it to you if the city is destroyed? The monsters are destroying and trampling the city. The Mecha killers from the Garka kingdom are also destroying the city. Even the buildings that had escaped by chance were attracted by the monsters to destroy them again. At present, if you say that these killers are in the same group as the monsters, no one will not believe it. The monsters can easily destroy the city, and the speed of the killers destroying the city is no less than that of the 12 monsters. At this moment, the satellite is still over the inner kingdom, broadcasting to the world simultaneously. Originally, Lin wanted to show off his small size and big gains, and wanted to show the world the tactics of the Garka kingdom to eliminate monsters. But now it is obvious that Lin is once again ruthlessly crushing the faces of the global audience after the war fortress, and it is the kind that is caught off guard. The audiences around the world were like clay sculptures and wooden sculptures, motionless. Pussy covered his face with his hands. Fuck. Lin Chen took a deep breath of air. Then he contacted the nearest aircraft carrier of the 3rd Legion and asked some pilots to be ready at any time. At present, the Garka kingdom has not been overturned. After all, them Mechas were still fighting with the monsters, but the price was a big high, turning countless buildings into dust. Not long after, there were few buildings left in Chenki City. This time, the terrorist killers finally had no place to hide. At the same time, a 4-winged lizard beast was finally consumed and seriously injured and dying. Energy cannon fired. Chirp 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 301 energy cannons and 301 bright beams of light hit the dying 4-winged lizard beast. Finally, a monster was destroyed. This is a victory for the Garka kingdom, symbolizing that the Garka kingdom has the ability to destroy monsters. The Emperor of the Garka kingdom, Lin Gummo, was overjoyed and suddenly had the urge to cry. It was not easy. He finally succeeded in pretending to be cool under the attention of the whole world. The Garka people also showed surprise on their faces. See, our Garka country has risen and has the ability to destroy monsters. Garka country, I am proud of you. The history of the world will be written by us in the future. At this moment, the enthusiasm of Garka country was high, and countless Garka people were excited and shouted to the sky. The history of the world will be written by Garka country in the future. At the same moment, the proud record of destroying a monster did not make the people of Yin country cheer, they just wanted to curse. Because Chenki City is gone.
Because of the participation of the terrorist killer, the time when the monster went crazy and destroyed the city was several times more than before. There are still 11 monsters behind. If we fight the monsters according to Lungamo's tactics, will Yin country have to pay the price of 12 cities becoming ruins after all the monsters are destroyed? However, the only thing to be thankful for at present is that the residents have already been transferred. But even so, the Emperor Songrin of the Yin country was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. Lungamo, the old man, had boasted before that as long as the tactics were right, it would be no problem to destroy the monsters, and that the simulated video monsters would definitely die miserably, but in the end, his own country had to pay the price for him. If I had known earlier, I would not have coveted small games. Immediately afterwards, before Songrin could think about it, the Yin kingdom was in chaos. One after another, enthusiastic calls came into Songrin's mansion, all of which were indignant suggestions. Hurry up and tell Garka Kingdom to stop harming the Yin Kingdom. Let those terrorist killers in the Garka Kingdom pack up and get out. With them around, our city will be destroyed even faster. Go and ask for help from the Wangxian Empire. Are the top leaders only thinking about old ladies and bubble baths? They actually believed the nonsense of the old man Lungamo. With such a major decision-making mistake, Songrin's public phone was blown up. Songrin realized the seriousness of the matter at the first time. The public's opinions were correct. All the terrorist killers in Lungamo must get out. He quickly contacted Lungamo and said in a deep voice, "Please stop fighting monsters immediately." Lungamo said confidently, "Why, don't you see, my tactics have already destroyed a monster, and it won't be long before all the monsters will be destroyed. No, please leave quickly. Our new country is small and can't withstand your bossing. Now a city is destroyed after destroying a monster. What about the remaining monsters?" Songrin looked angry. This Lungamo hesitated. "I will go to Wang's Empire now. Before they come, if Yongchais have not left, I will ask to destroy Yongchais together." Songrin looked angry. Lungamo turned the table over. So angry. This time, the pretense went quite smoothly, but I was forced to stop before I achieved a satisfactory effect. It's so unpleasant. The destruction of the city is none of my business. Songrin, that idiot, is wrongly accusing a good person. Order all our terrorist killers to withdraw and terminate all diplomatic relations with the Yin Kingdom. After receiving the order, the Minister of the Interior quickly recalled all the terrorist killers who were having fun and explained the dirty inside story of the Yin Kingdom through the host. Soon, the emotions of countless Garka people were mobilized, and they roared angrily at the Yin Kingdom. It must be that the hateful Yin Kingdom couldn't bear to see the rise of the Garka Kingdom in front of the global audience, so they drove all the terrorist killer troops back. Yes, it must be like this. And on the Yin Kingdom side, the refuge area of Chainki City. Countless residents of Chainki City looked at the once prosperous city on the screen, which has now become dilapidated and there are no intact buildings. They were all stupid, staring at the screen with dull faces, unable to calm the haze in their hearts for a long time. My home is gone. Wow, the riding experience store I just opened. The car building I bought with a loan is gone. This time Miss Yoshizawa will definitely marry her predecessor. Countless people cried bitterly, their homes were gone, and the once beautiful Chainki City was gone. A shadow of despair loomed over everyone's heart. At this time, a depressing atmosphere permeated the Emperor's palace in Songrin, and everyone in the high-ranking officials of the Yin Kingdom felt like there was a big stone pressing on their chests and they couldn't breathe. Do we really have to ask for help from the Wangxi Empire? Damn old Lungamo, we shouldn't trust him. But the Wangxi Empire's asking prices too high. They actually want 120 of our precious scientists. Just as the Yin Kingdom hesitated, the monsters began to move towards the second city. They had almost no room to fight back against the rampage of these monsters, and another city was about to become a ruin, and countless people were about to be displaced. Therefore, the high-ranking officials of the Yin Kingdom contacted the Wangxi Empire without any hesitation. Songrin contacted Lai, the foreign minister of the Wangxi Empire, and said sincerely, "We are suffering from the disaster of monsters in the Yin Kingdom. Now we beg your Mecha to save us." Lai smiled and said, "Yes, but you must hand over 120 scientists from various fields." Songrin looked embarrassed and said, "Isn't this too much? There are only 11 monsters left." Lai smiled and said, 130. Songrin was very annoyed and said with anger, "You are taking advantage of the fire. On behalf of the Yin Kingdom, I firmly disagree." Lai smiled without any annoyance or anxiety, 140.
Chapter 136 The angel guarding dawn has arrived. This is extortion. It is blatant extortion. Song Rin was so angry that he trembled all over. But the so-called pride had long been worn away by the monster, or it could be said that he had lost his confidence after being hit by the old man long ago. Now, even if he didn't agree, what could he do? Although he was unwilling in his heart, and although he knew that the Wang's Empire was taking advantage of the fire, if he didn't agree, would he just wait for the destruction of the country? Okay, deal, but the monsters destroyed must belong to our new country. Song Rin looked decadent. We don't even look down on the corpses of garbage monsters. Xinglai looked contemptuous. Resources. The current Wang's Empire has no shortage of any material resources, but human resources. After all, there is already a whole Kepler planet with resources that can be transported back to the blue planet continuously. What is lacking now is technical talents to build Kepler planet. Song Rin was so angry that his teeth hurt. The damn Wang's Empire made a lot of money because of the monster disaster, so of course it has no shortage of monster corpses now. In short, there are all kinds of envy, jealousy and hatred. If the Indo Kingdom could have more monster corpses for research earlier, it might have its own mecha now. After a while, the consul of the Indo Kingdom in the Wang's embassy took the printed agreement and signed it with the Wang's Empire. At this point, the contract came into effect. Song Rin sat on the chair facing the ceiling for a long time, leaving tears of regret. This time he was badly cheated by the old man Lun Gummo. He pretended to be cool and walked away, but Chenki City was gone, and now he had to hand over 140 scientists to the Wang's Empire. Hateful. Looking back to the past, the Inu Kingdom was all over the world, but now it has no ability to deal with monsters. Today's Inu Kingdom has declined. Afterwards, under a series of measures, the official of the Inu Kingdom hurriedly released this good news to calm the panic of the people. Dear citizens, please don't panic. The top leaders have reached an agreement with the Wang's Empire. They are mobilizing Mechas to help us eliminate monsters. As soon as this news came out, the whole country was boiling. The signs of panic, anxiety, despair, etc. that had just disappeared without a trace in an instant. They had never doubted the strength of the Wang's Empire's Mecha. Because the Wang's Empire's Mecha symbolizes invincibility, and has never been defeated so far. It is because of this that the vast majority of people have seen the dawn of hope from despair. At this time, in the Mecha base, Lin Chen and Xinglai started a short video call. Xinglai finished telling all the contents. Okay, I will start to arrange it immediately. Lin Chen hung up the phone. After a while, he took time out of his busy schedule to come to the command room, and selected 110 pilots from the list as the Mecha force for this attack. Then, according to the list, the personnel sent the message to each pilot, and then used the radio to say, the personnel for this attack were in their positions. This time, the Kalin and Biza craft carriers at Jinshi Port will be transported to the Inu Kingdom to destroy the monster. 110 Mechas took off one after another. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The scene was extremely spectacular. 2 hours later, the two aircraft carriers arrived at Chenki City alone without any escort ships. Even so, the ships of various countries in the port of Chenki City had already avoided these two behemoths. The ships of various countries were scared. On the deck, a series of Mechas ready to take off were on standby. If someone was unhappy with someone in the name of fighting monsters, they would give him 2 shots. Then there would be no place to cry. Take off. Lin Chen gave the order. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The Mechas on the two aircraft carriers took off one after another, rushing straight towards the 11 monsters along the destroyed buildings. Seeing this earth-shaking scene, the ships of various countries in the distance hurriedly sent the news to the Indo Kingdom. One person told 10, 10 told 100, and in a very short time, all the people in the Indo Kingdom received the news that the support of the Wang's Empire had arrived. The support of the Wang's Empire has finally arrived. When countless people heard the news, they were so excited that they cried. The dawn of the Indo Kingdom has finally arrived. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire are a group of dawn guardians, guarding the dawn of hope for the Indo Kingdom. Those heroic Mechas are like angels. When they feel the crisis of life and death of people, they will always descend from the sky to safeguard the justice of the world. The official of the Indo Kingdom also sees this opportunity to quickly publicize and brush up a wave of presents. This is the true friendship between a strip of water and a friend in need. Hearing the official news, many people couldn't help but feel grateful. When the Indo Kingdom was facing life and death, no country was willing to support it.
Instead, it was the Wang's Empire, which had always been hostile to it, that came to its aid. The damn Gaka kingdom is not reliable at all. At the critical moment, the Jianmeng Empire, which has always been claiming justice, did not make any sound. Instead, it was the Wang's Empire that came. Thank you, friendly country. It's too polite to say too much. We must let those heroes who come to save us experience the most enthusiastic service of the new kingdom. Many people don't know the inside story of the above transaction. Therefore, most people put their hands together and prayed that the angels from friendly countries who brought infinite dawn to people must return safely. At this time, the monsters had just entered the second city of the inner kingdom. If these 11 giant monsters comparable to mountains were not stopped in time, no doubt, no matter how prosperous the city was, it would be just a target for destruction in the eyes of the monsters. The monsters began to ravage the city. The gravity field of the giant bullfrog beast was opened, and the buildings in the gravity area collapsed one after another. The attacks of the four-winged lizard beast were even more diverse. The energy storm with arcs was ejected from its mouth. Once ejected, half of the street often became a mess of ruins, or the wings gathered energy to launch pieces of light feathers comparable to steel spears to penetrate many buildings. The disaster of the monsters was vividly interpreted in the eyes of the world. Before, whether it was the Jianmeng Empire or the Turkey Kingdom, they were not as terrible as the disaster of the Innu Kingdom. The Innu Kingdom really suffered heavy losses this time, but for now, at least the decision-maker Song Rin still remained rational and made up for the loss at the right time. Just as the monsters were wreaking havoc in the city, they suddenly stopped their huge bodies. A sound of breaking through the air came from the distant sky, attracting their attention. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 110 Mechas were approaching here at a very fast speed. There is no visual shock like a large number of terrifying killers. There is no visual impact like dangerous wanderers. But this group of pocket-sized toys, which Pussy once laughed at, has conditions that those fancy Mechas do not have. Super strong combat power and drivers who have experienced countless real battles. At this moment, everyone in the Innu Kingdom, everyone in the Wang's Empire, and more than 2 billion viewers around the world are watching satellite TV closely. In the sight, a huge fleet of aircraft is flying in the sky, covering the sky and the sun, and they come with murderous intent. Chapter 137. The battle begins and ends. These Mechas from the Wang's Empire are about to show their amazing fighting power once again. No one doubts whether these Mechas can successfully destroy the monsters, because this is a blasphemy against the angels. Once, the Jianmeng Empire held an unprecedented Pacific Rim Mecha competition. It was these Mechas that abandoned the competition due to violations that destroyed the monsters again and again. At this moment, the pilots coming from the distant sky saw from afar that the 11 monsters had also discovered them. They were staring at the monsters, and the monsters were also staring at them. Elsa, the goddess in the pilot minds, turned on the intercom function of the goggles and said, "Be careful, the monsters seem to have discovered us. These monsters seem to be smarter than before. Have they evolved?" A certain pilot couldn't help but frown. Even if they evolve, they are just beasts waiting to die. I heard that the hot springs in Yin country are good. After I kill the monsters, I must go to those informal hot spring places to visit. Yi Chuan, one of the team leaders, smiled and was full of infinite reverie about what would happen after the monsters were killed. I heard that the golden bubble bath in Yin country is quite famous. Since I came here, of course I have to experience it before leaving. Why do you want to go to informal places? Someone was puzzled. You are still young and don't understand the content here at all. The formal ones are so boring. Yi Chuan looked contemptuous. In the temporary command room on the aircraft carrier, the conversations of the pilots were all heard. Everyone was speechless. Jingshi poked Lin Chen with a finger with a black face. Lin Chen took a deep breath of air, used the intercom function, and said, "Yi Chuan, I heard that your idol is Miss Hatano. After this mission is over, I will let foreign ministers Malai and Song Rin have a good talk about how to get your idol to marry you." No, she is too fierce. Yi Chuan was horrified. It is true that my idol is Ms. Hatano, but this is a spiritual idol. If that woman marries me and gives birth to a black baby, what should I do? Then shut up. You have been talking non-stop all the way. Lin Chen said. All the drivers. After being scolded by Lin Chen, the drivers held their breath and entered the combat state one after another. The war was about to break out. The distance between them and the monsters was getting closer and closer. At this moment, the Mechas of the Wang's Empire not only touched the Innu Kingdom, but also touched all the audiences in the world.
Everyone's heart was already in their throat. Soon, the Mechas and the monsters were getting closer and closer. Battle form. Everyone saw that the Mechas suddenly changed. Each mecha became particularly heroic, and the body lines with industrial beauty were very consistent with human aesthetics. Such a good-looking mecha will definitely defeat the ugly monsters. All the Mechas have shown their weapons, particle beam guns and particle beam swords. At the same time, the 6 four-winged lizard beasts sensed the danger and immediately launched an attack. The bloody mouth gathered energy substances, and several energy storms rushed out. The wings gathered energy substances, and pieces of light further shot out. Seeing this all-over attack, the audience around the world was on edge. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Such an attack is very strong, but the driver with countless driving experience drove the mecha and showed super mobility. The speed of the Mechas was extremely fast and avoided the monster's attack. The monster's attack failed. At this time, the Mechas of the Wang's Empire all aimed their particle beam guns at the monster. Every 10 Mechas will deal with one monster. An easy combat mission. Chirp, chirp. 110 particle beam guns were aimed at the monster, and the next second, the particle beam guns attacked the monster. Beams shot at the monster. This is a horrifying attack method. If this scene is made into a science fiction movie, even if no special effects are needed, it will definitely be a big hit. At this moment, the audience around the world was stunned. What a great attack! Seeing that the monster was enraged again, it opened its bloody mouth and flew into the sky to eat these reptiles, but it still had no effect. The mobility of the mecha was simply not something these monsters could touch. And the scene of the battle was obviously brighter. Soon, the Mechas stopped attacking. The wind stopped, and the world was quiet. The 11 monsters that had destroyed the city before were lying on the ground, their huge bodies were riddled with holes, and it was obvious that they were pierced all over. They had no sound, lying quietly on the ground without moving, losing all signs of life. At this moment, many viewers remained motionless and looked at the screen on TV in amazement. Is the battle over? Isn't this too simple? Thinking of the fierce battle in the kingdom of Gaka, the Wang's Empire can only describe it as crushing. Apart from that, it is really difficult to find any words to describe it. For a long time, the people of the Ind country calmed their inner horror, watched the corpses of the monsters through satellite TV, and fell into crazy screams. Ah, the monster is dead. Great, thank you Wang's Empire for successfully stopping the monster. The damn Gaka kingdom is simply a hindrance. If it weren't for them, Chinky City would never be a ruin now. Thank you for your help. Excited cheers rang out in every corner. People were cheering and rejoicing. The assistance of the Wang's Empire eliminated the monster, so that the dawn of hope for the Ind kingdom finally arrived. Compared with the cheers of the people of Inu, Pussy, who was far away on the other side of the ocean, grabbed his hair with both hands and roared wildly. Oh, fuck, are these monsters here to give away points? It was simply useless. I thought the monsters could at least kill a few Mechas of the Wang's Empire, but who knew that the battle would end as soon as it started, and they were all killed in seconds. So angry. In the future, the Wang's Empire will be the one to pretend, and what will happen to my own Jianmeng Empire? In short, I am very unhappy, all kinds of unhappy. The Emperor of the Ind Kingdom was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood on the spot. The battle ended so quickly, and I felt that the scientists who were about to be handed over were at a disadvantage, right? On the third day after the monster was destroyed, after handing over the scientists on the list, the aircraft carrier of the Wang's Empire left the Ind Kingdom. Songrin smiled and looked at the aircraft carrier that was getting farther and farther away. He figured it out. In fact, it was a good choice to send scientists to the Wang's Empire. As long as they participated in the work, they would definitely touch certain technologies. Now that the means of communication are so advanced, wouldn't it be easy to obtain the mecha technology of the Wang's Empire? Haha, the Wang's Empire really made a bad move. However, after the 140 scientists of the Ind nationality were brought back to the Wang's Empire, they were secretly transferred to one place after another through the cooperation of various departments. Such a thorough and important measure, and this also further strengthened the feasibility of the scientists of the Ind Kingdom to obtain technology. When these people were sharpening their knives and preparing to do something big. Sir, please assign us tasks. Okay. An official from the Gizhou province of the Wang's Empire nodded. Many scientists were overjoyed, and it was estimated that they would be able to obtain mecha technology in a short time. Come here, in order to prevent them from stealing the technology, it has been decided by the higher-ups to send all of them to Kepler for construction. The official called out to the convoy that had been prepared long ago. Then these scientists were taken to another world, Kepler planet. After passing through a series of fantastic passages, these scientists from the enemy country were collectively dumbfounded as they sat in the car. Chapter 138. Lin Chen wants to build a spaceship. He knows nothing. They looked left and right, and were soon pulled to an almost ancient city. Yes, this is ancient times. The people around are still wearing clothes from hundreds of years ago. If they didn't see a few modern people occasionally, they would have thought they had traveled back to ancient times. In short, this is definitely not the Azure Star. The Azure Star definitely doesn't have such complete ancient buildings. The more I think about it, the more horrified I feel. The more I think about it, the harder it is to control my anxiety. After a long time, these scientists from the enemy kingdom were in an uproar. Where are you taking us? Why is there no signal on my phone? Damn it, this must not be on the Azure Star. The passage just now must be the entrance to another world. No wonder the development of the Wang's Empire is changing with each passing day. It turns out that there is help from aliens. Damn it. At this time, relevant staff of the Wang's Empire distributed a manual to everyone, detailed discussion on Kepler Star. All scientists read it. 5 minutes later. It's so shocking. What I just passed through is actually a passage connecting to another world, and now I have come to a strange planet. Although the channel connecting to another world really exists and is a miracle, everyone's heart suddenly jumped when they thought about working in another world. Wait, is it wrong? Working on this strange planet, how can we bring back the secrets of the Wang's Empire? Everyone, it is not convenient for you to bring back our technology to the new kingdom. Please don't worry about losing contact with the Blue Star. Both channels have our people as the connection between the two planets. Okay. More than 100 scientists were very depressed. Although they were working on another planet, it was actually not much different from the Blue Star. Thank you for your understanding. If you miss home, we will let you contact us by writing letters, or we can also bring your family over. The relevant personnel spoke. Then these scientists were arranged to work on the technological backward Kepler planet, or to teach. As time went by, 1 week, 2 weeks passed. The Emperor of the Hindu Kingdom, Song Renzo, was completely depressed. Didn't they agree to steal the confidential technology of the Wang's Empire and send it back to the country? Why is there no news about technology at all? If they hadn't intercepted the letters that were contacting their families, I would have thought that the Wang's Empire had secretly executed all those scientists. Damn it. Bagaloo, the conscience of the Wang's Empire is really bad. Song Ren was very annoyed and had nowhere to vent, so he turned his attention to the slim female secretary. Your shine is your wipes, black silk stockings, overtime. Here, Wang's Empire. Inside the base. Lin Chen has typed all the aviation knowledge that is 100 years ahead of the Blue Star into the computer, and printed out several copies. Lin Chen did not hide such precious information. According to his mother's meaning, he had to keep a hand in case some struggles implicated him. But the situation has changed now. Because of external factors, Yan Ming and Jiangmin Jiwan have abandoned their previous grievances. In short, the current situation is a happy one, and there is no need to worry about any uneasy factors. Lin Chen called Lao Wang and the journey to the west for Sunshushabai. After receiving Lin Chen's message, they hurried to the data room. As soon as they entered the door, they all asked the puzzled questions in their hearts. What do you want us to do? Lin Chen said. The base has been on track for a long time. Now other people can also maintain the operation of the base and the production line, so I plan to let you all put down your work. After saying this, several people were even more puzzled. Then what are we going to do? We can't retire, right? Without supervision, I still worry about the quality. Is there something else that needs to be studied? Lin Chen said. Be quiet. Several people suddenly quieted down. Although Lin Chen has not yet made it clear why he called them here, the more they think something big is going to happen. Could it be that the aliens are going to attack in a big way? Lin Chen asked. Have you ever thought about the magnificence of the Sea of Stars? When several people heard this, they subconsciously looked at each other and were immediately shocked. They had also heard about Lin Chen's interview with reporters before. The reason he built a mecha was because he saw someone building a mecha in an animation, so he thought he could do it, and finally he actually built one. Now he suddenly changed his mind and talked about the Sea of Stars.
Several people thought that Lin Chen had watched some science fiction movies recently, and then he became interested in the universe and started building spaceships. Right. Take a look. Lin Chen ignored their speculations and handed each of them a copy of the information. Almost everyone flicked through it and glanced at some of the contents of the first time. I was right. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. Several top scientists couldn't help but widen their eyes and exclaimed subconsciously. Because just by flipping through it casually, they saw the knowledge and level that the Imperial Space Engineering had not yet touched from these materials. Not only that, every detailed explanation in it has a logic to be found. If these precious materials were handed over to the group of people in the Imperial Space Engineering, they would definitely avoid a lot of detours. Suddenly, Lao Wang and his companions all looked at Lin Chen in shock. They were all materialists and did not believe in the so-called God at all, but now they were shaken and could not help but speculate. Is he really a person? Does the God of technology really exist? Otherwise, why do so many people want to put Lin Chen's photo on their bed to ward off evil? In the future, we will build spaceships. Since the aliens have bad intentions towards us, we will naturally give them 3 points in return. Lin Chen said. We are good at building Mechas, but isn't it a bit unprofessional to say that building spaceships is not professional enough? And doesn't building spaceships start from building rockets? Lao Zhu questioned. Spaceships and rockets are not of the same nature at all. The former is a future technological product, while the latter is a rocket with a similar shape to a cannonball at the current stage. Why is it wrong? We can't use rockets. What the mobile forces lack now is space battleships, the kind that can smash a planet with one shot. Lin Chen said. Several people didn't dare to attack Lin Chen. At the moment, they felt that it was a bit abrupt to build spaceships directly. But the information in their hands made them unable to have any childish mentality. We have 100 years of aviation knowledge at hand. If we don't make full use of it by building spaceships, should we hide it? Or is the space that gathers the talents of the Empire not as good as the aerospace engineering? In the past, the aviation department of the Empire built cars, and the transportation department built airplanes. Now it seems that there is nothing wrong with the Mecha base building spaceships. Put aside all the work on hand, and learn the knowledge in the materials thoroughly. Let's build a spaceship and test flight to Mars first. Do you want to inform the aerospace engineering department? Lao Wang asked. No, they have their tasks, and we have our tasks. These are two different things. Lin Chen said. In the following days, Lao Wang and others began to work hard to understand this aviation knowledge that came from 100 years ahead. And Lin Chen was not idle either. He took the initiative to start thinking about the Aerospace Engineering Institute. He frequently contacted batches of talents in the aviation field in the name of guarding against monsters, and called the construction department of the Empire in the name of the need to expand the base, asking them to send more engineering teams. Then, the atmosphere in the Institute of Aerospace Engineering became weird. System R, I heard that several colleagues asked for leave yesterday. Alas, I heard that they went to support the Mecha base. Brother Song, do you know that now Professor Lin will take away whoever he finds? I heard that he is preparing to do something big. That's right, hateful, why didn't he come to me? Then, the talents of the Institute of Aerospace Engineering began to ask for leave every few days, and when they came back from leave, they continued to work absent-mindedly and with disgust, as if they had taken a drug. This weird state soon attracted the attention of Fan Qi, the dean of the Institute of Aerospace Engineering. What? Since the people who asked for leave came back, they have no intention of working. When he heard that these people became like this after contacting Lin Chen. Yes, Fan Qi, the dean of the Institute of Aerospace Engineering, was angry. Since the birth of the Mecha base, the aerospace materials on his side have been decreasing day by day. In the spirit of everyone for the Empire, this matter is fine. Good guy, now they're starting to set their sights on aerospace researchers. No way. Okay, that brat actually boasted that he wanted to build a spaceship and go to outer space. He knows nothing. Fan Qi slammed the table in anger. Dean Fang, calm down. Now that Lin Chen is in the limelight in the Empire, and he is doing something with the princess, we can't afford to offend him. The secretary reminded in a timely manner. He builds Mechas to fight monsters, and we build rockets and satellites. There is no relationship between the two. But, is that Lin Chen real? He is very good at building Mechas, but it doesn't mean that he is also good at building rockets. The Empire's plan to launch a probe to Mars in 5 years can't be delayed any longer.
Fanky, the dean of the aerospace engineering department, was furious. No matter what Lin Chen is doing and what he is planning, this matter must be explained, and by the way, let him know why the flowers are bright red. Thank you for the reward from Novel Supreme and Blood Prison Shura. And your recommendation tickets and monthly tickets. Thank you all. Thank you. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 139, The Stumped Academy of Aerospace Engineering. Not long after, Fanky led a group of backbones of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering and left the Academy of Aerospace Engineering in a rage. This time, they were going to find Lin Chen to ask for punishment. Along the way, the people in the Department of Aerospace Engineering looked unhappy. Because Lin Chen had robbed people for no reason. If it was to build Mechas, they would definitely not stop him. After all, everyone knew the principle of lips and teeth are cold, but it was to build spacecrafts. In the field of aerospace, Lin Chen was the layman. Soon, the group was about to arrive at the Mecha base. Through the car window, people could see the construction team that was working. From the scale and number, it can be seen that the Empire attaches great importance to them. Fuck, I can see that Lin Chen is now a treasure of the Empire. But even so, you can't rob people. Isn't this nonsense? If the Empire can also attach so much importance to us, I guess our Mars rover would be ready by now. As they talked, people fell silent. They were all jealous. Envious. Over the years, the funds allocated by the Empire to aerospace engineering have never increased. But look at them, they can immediately mobilize whatever they need as soon as they ask for it. Is this the treatment of their own son? If they think about it carefully, people will be even more silent. There is no way. I heard that they bring back tons of gold. Comparing the two, one launches rockets into the sky, and can't see any rewards except for a good look, while the other brings back heavy metals continuously. Of course, the Empire will focus on the latter. Not long after, these people came to the inside of the Mecha base. After a series of shocks, everyone became jealous again. There was no comparison at all. Finally, they were led to the reception room by the staff. Lin Chen was sitting in the reception room at this time, looking to one side with a puzzled face, and asked, "Do you know them?" Jiangxia shook her head. Although she was the eldest princess and seemed to have a very noble status, it was actually because of Lin Chen that her status was picked up by the Empire again. To put it bluntly, without Lin Chen, she would still be a down-and-out princess who was unwilling to accept her fate. So, she didn't know anyone from the Academy of Aerospace Engineering at all. After a while, people from the Academy of Aerospace Engineering entered the reception room one after another in a threatening manner. After the necessary greetings with Jiangxia, Dean Fanky directly blamed Lin Chen and said angrily, "Lin Chen, I have been tolerant again and again because we are all for the Empire. If you don't explain this matter clearly, we will never be done." Lin Chen was stunned for a moment and said, "What's the matter?" Fanky was almost vomiting blood in anger. "Is this a default? Did you abduct our aerospace engineering people? I just contacted them and asked if they were willing to come to my side to help build a spaceship." Build a spaceship? Building a rocket is not as simple as you think. Those people are the backbone of aerospace engineering. We are going to launch a probe to Mars in 5 years. You have delayed the big thing. Fanky said angrily. Jiangxi's face immediately sank. What does this mean? Didn't you see me? You understand, just you will understand. Lin Chen said, I don't know whether it's a rocket or not, but we are building a spaceship, please don't confuse them. Fanky was almost vomiting blood in anger. A mecha maker changed his career to building a spaceship. This is as ridiculous as a taxi driver suddenly changing his career to become a chef in a 5-star hotel. You don't understand aerospace engineering at all, please don't be so willful. If you continue like this, I can only report you for obstructing public affairs. Fanky's face was not very good. Who said I don't understand aerospace engineering? Now I can beat you up by just picking one of them, believe it or not. No. Fanky and others' faces turned black. Lin Chen called Lao Wang. Hearing that these people were here to make trouble, Lao Wang immediately looked contemptuous and said, how dare you guys compete with us in the field of aerospace? Oh, Fanky and others, this guy's words are so annoying. Lao Wang talked about the aviation knowledge that was 100 years ahead of Azure Star. 1.
Then Fanky and the others changed from being angry to being confused, puzzled, and horrified. Finally, they all showed an expression of disbelief. What was the other party talking about just now? Why did he seem so awesome? Why did he feel that there seemed to be a solution to the current problems in the development of aerospace? They were speechless, and suddenly felt that the other party had the real aerospace knowledge. So what are you doing here? Lin Chen asked. How do you know the knowledge that we don't have? Fanky said timidly. We have knowledge that is more than 100 years ahead of you. Lin Chen said calmly. Everyone was shocked and dumbfounded. Is it so awesome? Anyway, I just don't believe it. Then when a pile of aerospace knowledge within 100 years was placed in front of them, these people were deeply shocked. Unbelievable. Fuck, awesome. These data are 50 years ahead of the others, and they're not hard to understand. Awesome, awesome, these data are comparable to the Bible in the West. The whole scene was in chaos, filled with shock. The above knowledge is not hard to understand, it's all written from the beginning to the end, from the simplest to the most complex. These precious data. Fanky, the president of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering, took a deep breath, suppressed the shock in his heart, and looked at Lin Chen with a changed look, full of intense passion. He thought the other party was being unreasonable, but now it seems that he has the real stuff, and he can beat everyone in the Academy of Engineering. The people behind him had their mouths turned into knots, looking at the future aerospace data with envy. Why didn't you come to our Academy of Aerospace Engineering in the first place? Fanky's attitude changed completely, and it took less than 10 minutes from accusing him to complaining. Why should I go to the Academy of Aerospace Engineering? It's so much better here. But why didn't you tell me earlier that you had these things? We could have avoided a lot of detours. Fanky continued to complain. Lin Chen said seriously. Your mission is to build rockets, and our mission is to develop military forces. Building a spaceship is reasonable, but we are completely different. All the aerospace engineers. We are speechless. After another round of questioning, everyone was silent, and no longer questioned Lin Chen's statement about building a spaceship. It was really Lin Chen who painted a big pie, and every content of the spaceship he said was very clear and dazzling, so people had to be convinced. Moreover, even if there was some exaggeration in what he said, just based on the information on the coffee table, everyone had to change their attitude towards Lin Chen. Work together, we must work together. Since you are going to build a spaceship, our Institute of Aerospace Engineering will definitely provide great assistance. Fanky said seriously, because he was also afraid that we lacked various resources and experience to build a spaceship. As for launching a probe to Mars in the future, launching a fart. If you want to launch, you should launch a spaceship. Chapter 140. Pussy also felt that he could do it. In the Wang's Empire, a grand spaceship construction plan was completed, and relevant important people hurried to catch up on the information in Lin Chen's hands. This was not an important project approved by the Empire. Not only that, both Jingmin Jiwan and Yang Ming were still in the dark and had no idea about it. This was purely carried out privately by the two institutions. There was no news, no official documents, and even the funds and various resources were all intended to be used for the endless resources on the Kepler planet as support. So many people knew that the Mecha base was expanded, but what the content of the expansion was, this was unknown. Expanded again? Many people were confused. At this time, on the side of the Jianmeng Empire, Pussy sat in a chair with a depressed look on his face. Thinking that the Wang's Empire had succeeded in pretending to be powerful in the End Kingdom again, he felt super unhappy in his heart. He couldn't figure it out. Why is it that the Jianmeng Empire has already started to build spaceships and began to transform the dangerous wanderer to improve its combat effectiveness, but why is it still the Wang's Empire that succeeded in pretending to be powerful in the end? Unhappy, very unhappy. At this time, the Minister of the Interior came in with documents that needed to be signed. What document? Pussy looked depressed. About this year's budget expenditure, a total of 20 billion. Said the Minister of the Interior. Oh, fuck, why is it so much? We need to study the alien spaceship technology, and also build our own spaceship, and also build energy cannons and transform dangerous wanderers. Said the Minister of the Interior. Pussy heard it, and immediately wiped away the depression on his face and asked, what is the current progress? The Minister of the Interior reported. The dangerous wanderer is expected to be transformed within half a year. The speed of manufacturing spaceships may be slower.
At present, we are studying technology while manufacturing spaceships, so it will not be too fast. Pussy looked unhappy and said, "Too slow, too slow." The Minister of the Interior hit him mercilessly, saying, "Sorry, you have no say in the time issue." Pussy said dissatisfiedly, "I don't care, I will see a spaceship that can enter Mars in a year." Then he added a zero after the funds with a pen. He never hesitated about how to show the strength of the Jianmeng Empire in front of the world and how to pretend. As long as the strength of the dangerous wanderers is greatly improved in the future, and the monster is blown up with one punch, the whole world will be shocked by the true power of the Jianmeng Empire, and will also remember the name of Pussy. Even when the spaceship takes scientists to Mars for the first time, he at the time, what Wangxi Empire, what Polar Empire, those are just stinky younger brothers. Now Pussy suddenly feels that he can do it. And Wangxi Empire. After Lin Chen learned that everyone had thoroughly understood the aerospace knowledge of the next 100 years, he immediately opened his system panel. In the spaceship category, he exchanged for a spaceship with the lowest value, a small exploration spaceship. This is a spaceship that does not have any weapons except flying, and does not have appalling weapons such as star destroyers. To put it simply, it is just a small spaceship. Even so, if the structural drawings of this spaceship are spread, it will definitely cause an uproar in the outside world. Ding, the exchange is successful. Then Lin Chen saw that there was a stack of specific construction drawings of the spaceship in his hand. Small exploration spacecraft. A flat rectangular spacecraft, shaped like a flying machine in a science fiction movie, 100 meters long and 50 meters wide. In addition to a lounge and a bathroom, the interior has an activity area of 20 square meters. It contains warp engines, plasma thrusters, gravitators, etc. and uses a foolproof operating system. Although this spacecraft is almost 1,000 years ahead of the Azure Star, with the current talents and materials after cramming knowledge, plus these structural drawings, it can be said that it is not difficult to build this small exploration spacecraft. Then Lin Chen hurriedly called all the technical talents he trusted. There was no extension of any technical field, because there were more important things waiting for them to do, and they needed to build a spacecraft. Aerospace Engineering Academy. Quack. The phone fell on the table. The director of the Engineering Academy stood up suddenly, with a look of shock and disbelief. It's so soon to prepare to build a spaceship. After reacting, he rushed to the dean's office in a hurry. "Dean, Lin Chen is going to build a spaceship." At the time, the backbone of the Aerospace Engineering Institute, led by Dean Fanqi, was concentrating on reviewing the information brought back from the Mecha base. The more they read, the more they wanted to read, and the more they studied, the more awesome they felt. Some people even caused family conflicts because they didn't have time to be intimate with their wives because they studied these materials day and night. Even so, everyone still enjoyed reading every word on the information. But suddenly when they heard the news from outside, everyone looked angry, and the next second they all became excited, and their faces flushed. "Great, I can't wait to build a spaceship. Damn it, it's like a dream, it's too unbelievable. Woohoo, it's not a waste of time. The prodigal woman in my family only clamors for intimacy. She doesn't understand me at all. I want to save all my energy for the spaceship." After a commotion, Dean Fanqi quickly led the backbone of the Engineering Institute and headed towards the Mecha base. "My dear Academy of Aerospace Engineering," Fanqi waved to the Academy of Engineering before getting on the bus. Everyone was speechless. Everyone at the Mecha base had already gathered. Whether it was Lao Wang and others or the people brought by Fanqi, they all looked at Lin Chen with admiration. Because of his existence, he was equivalent to the god of technology, and there was nothing he couldn't accomplish. Originally, I thought that building a mecha was awesome, but I didn't expect that building a mecha was just an appetizer. Such a genius, every well-known person in the scientific community would be unable to help but have a blind worship mentality in their hearts. Lin Chen's words were heavenly law, and they were all right. Lin Chen said, "The time is almost right, so I decided to start the manufacturing of the spacecraft." Everyone was excited all of a sudden. Is it finally time to start another great feat in human history? Lin Chen said, "I plan to build an exploration spacecraft that can carry people to any planet in the early stage." With such a person, everyone couldn't help but start looking forward to it. I believe that with Lin Chen's participation in the design of this exploration spacecraft, I will definitely learn more knowledge in the future. However, Lin Chen did not think about designing the exploration spacecraft with them step by step. He directly took out a stack of structural drawings and handed them to everyone. What is this? Lin Chen said. The structural drawings, just make it directly, no need to waste time and effort on design, and also consider some unreasonable factors. Everyone was shocked. He quickly flipped through some of the contents. Is this really the structural drawing of the exploration spacecraft? How awesome! With this structural drawing, we can directly manufacture it according to the above values without considering any unreasonable factors. Awesome! The more people read, the more shocked they were, and the more awesome they were. Until the end, everyone stood there in a daze, everyone's mouth had turned into a naught shape, and they were horrified and said, using the distortion of space to achieve the effect of fast movement, is this only in theory? Chapter 141. The horrifying curve engine. On the structural diagram, what shocked them was not the plasma thruster or the gravity device, but the warp engine, which was out of reach. Researchers in the aerospace field all knew that the solar system was very large. According to astronomical units, the diameter of the solar system was a terrifying number of more than 9 billion kilometers. Very large. But compared with the entire vast universe, the solar system is equivalent to the sand on a blue star, or even smaller. So it is undoubtedly a problem to travel in such a vast universe. But humans have also proposed theories. One is to use space wormholes, and the other is this warp engine. Lin Chen sighed and said, yes, it is a warp engine, but this is the lowest and entry-level warp engine. Its speed is only 1/10 of the speed of light, and it is not yet easy to achieve interstellar travel. Despite this, Lin Chen's words were still shocking, and everyone was shocked. Such an awesome speed is still not satisfactory. What? 1/10 of the speed of light. That means the longest distance can reach Mars in 3 hours. It's worthy of being the legendary warp engine. It's really terrifying. The speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second, and this warp engine will reach 30,000 kilometers per second. What kind of concept is this? It's almost catching up with a monkey doing a somersault. Such awesome technology is fake, right? This is the unanimous reaction in everyone's mind. But when I think about the Mechas and particle weapons now, so many incredible technologies have been realized, and now it seems that having one more warp engine is not something that is unacceptable. The most important thing is that every value on the structural diagram is reasonable and logical. So if you question the authenticity of the warp engine again, you are defiling the great god of technology Lin Chen. A group of people began to breathe quickly. Knowing that the birth of this warp engine will represent the beginning of the Empire's true entry into the stage of interstellar exploration. However, the only thing that everyone can't figure out is how this thing was designed. If it weren't for Lin Chen's existence, it might take 1,000 years for the Empire to achieve its current level. So what exactly is a warp engine? Inside the base, a researcher who made Mechas came over curiously and questioned. The speed of light is so fast, so how can a warp engine be 1/10 of the speed of light? What exactly is a warp engine? Lin Chen said. In fact, it is to distort the space around the spacecraft, so that the space in front is compressed and the space behind is extended, and the spacecraft itself is wrapped in an undistorted warp bubble. In other words, when a spacecraft uses warp engine technology, it is not the spacecraft itself that is accelerating, but the space around it that is distorting and flowing. Awesome. The researcher gave a thumbs up. It turns out that the warp engine does not violate the principles of relativity, and Einstein mentioned in the theory of relativity that space and time can be distorted. Lin Chen said, okay, let's start tomorrow. Then, a quietly carried out spaceship construction project in the Wangzhou Empire was launched. The Academy of Aerospace Engineering stopped most of the projects, and a large number of scientific research forces were reviewed and kept confidential, and finally gathered together with the scientific research forces in the Mecha base. The two scientific research teams together are almost equal to nearly half of the scientific research talents in the Empire. 1 day. 2 days. 1 month. Time passed day by day, and the manufacturing progress of the small exploration spacecraft was quite impressive. The internal and external structures of the entire spacecraft had already taken shape. Of course, the reason why it was so fast was thanks to those structural drawings. There was no need to understand, just build it step by step, and then weld it at the end. Even so, those scientists who were cramming for the knowledge of aerospace in the next 100 years still felt very strenuous. Today, the expanded spacecraft base is still as hot as the sky, and the people on the scene are constantly directing and manufacturing, proceeding in an orderly manner. Lin Chen came to the construction site with a yellow safety helmet on his head. Dean Fang. How is our progress? From the current progress, it can be completed within the next 2 to 3 months. Thank you, said. Lin Chen nodded. In the days that followed, time continued to pass. The news about the manufacture of spacecraft was leaked out after all. When a steady stream of scientific researchers and materials passed by the military camp every day, this soon attracted the attention of Lin Chen, who was responsible for the safety around the base. He immediately put down the things at hand, and after inquiring, he was shocked. Instead of making Mechas, they started making spaceships. Then, Lin Chen became a little worried, and immediately went to GA City to find Liang Shizong. Outside, it was raining heavily. Hearing that Liang Shizong would soon arrive at the office building, he immediately ran out and stretched out his hand to stop Liang Shizong's car. The car stopped and Lin Chen saluted. Lin Chen, why did you come to me in the heavy rain? The car window was lowered, revealing Liang Shizong's resolute face. Report, Professor Lin, what happened to him? Liang Shizong's heart jumped. Lin Chen was so anxious to find him. Could it be that Lin Chen had made a mistake? The importance of that young man to the Empire is self-evident, and it is no longer comparable to when he consul. He is building a spaceship, and it is almost done. Liang Shizong. If it weren't for this moment, he really thought that Lin Chen had come here to joke with him. Building the spaceship is the business of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering, and it has nothing to do with Lin Chen. Is it that building Mechas is not his strong point, but building rockets is? So he finally couldn't help wanting to go to the sky. The spaceship is almost finished. What else are you talking to me about? How can we stop him? Liang Shizong was sitting in the car, feeling angry and amused. Then he added, let's go and take a look. In the evening, the heavy rain continued. Liang Shizong and Lin Chen were originally planning to go and take a look, but when they were not far from the expanded spaceship base, they had become 2 cars. The buses behind were carrying many important scientific research teams. Gradually seeing the huge outline of the expansion in the distance, Liang Shizong sighed. What's wrong with the Corps Commander? Lin Chen asked on one side. He's developing too fast. Liang Shizong's tone was very sour. Thinking back to being able to get to this position today, part of it was due to luck, but more of it was due to his own efforts. And what about Lin Chen? After being his mentor once, he was so good that he soared directly to the sky. Now his influence is really amazing. He actually expanded the base again in such a short time, and he hasn't reported it to the higher-ups yet, and now he is building a spaceship on his own initiative. It's incredible, how can he be so awesome? Lin Chen was speechless. The bus behind was filled with scientific research teams. Hearing that Lin Chen was building a spaceship again, they all strongly requested to come and have a look. Seeing that they were about to reach the expanded spaceship base, they couldn't hold back their mouths anymore and expressed their own opinions. I heard that Lin Chen built a spaceship again. What spaceship? It's probably just a rocket. There's nothing to be surprised about. I guess when we get there, we'll be as shocked as we were back then, so everyone should be mentally prepared. I brought quick-acting heart pills. Does anyone have a bad heart? Thank you for the reward from Fantasy, and your monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Thank you everyone. Starting tomorrow, I'll update more, please support me. Chapter 142 Lao Wang's arduous task. Amid the discussion in the 2 cars, they drove into the expanded spaceship base. After layers of review, they were finally allowed to pass. Not long after, they hurried into a giant construction workshop in the rain, and were suddenly stunned by the scene in front of them. Unbelievable. In sight, there was a huge aircraft that looked like a science fiction movie. Fuck, this is really a spaceship. So awesome. A group of 10 people stood there dumbfounded, and a few were still in the rain, but their feet could hardly move at all. Swallowed saliva. Is this really a spaceship? Everyone's big mouth is turned into a naught shape. These people have been to Lin Chen's home before, and they are all scientists with many years of experience in the military industry. A big scene like today is no less shocking than the first time they saw the Mecha. The actual effect is unknown for the time being. Anyway, from the current point of view, the spaceship looks very good and looks amazing. Sure enough, our empire needs such talents. An old man with white hair and beard flushed with excitement. When the others saw him, they hurriedly supported him to prevent him from falling again. Liang Shizong swallowed his saliva, suppressed his inner fear, and went to Lin Chen to ask, is this really a spaceship being built? It's a branch of a spaceship, a small exploration spaceship. Lin Chen said. Can it go to the sky? Of course, if it can't go to the sky, why would we build it? Lin Chen said. Liang Shi's thumb still felt incredible, and whispered, how confident are you that this spaceship can achieve the effect you expect? At present, there is no approval from above to build a spaceship, and the reason why the spaceship was built is very likely to be a willful behavior of Lin Chen. So even if this matter fails in the end, as long as the news is kept secret, it will not embarrass Lin Chen. Very. Lin Chen said seriously. But did you ask the Academy of Aerospace Engineering for advice on building a spaceship? Liang Shizong asked again with concern. At this time, Fanqi on the side stretched out his right hand and smiled. Hello, Commander Liang, I am Fanqi, the Dean of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering. Liang Shizong. This matter may really be a big deal. The Academy of Aerospace Engineering has also joined in. You guys don't just build rockets at home, but you follow Lin Chen to build spaceships. Fanqi smiled again and said, this time, we have to thank Lin Chen, otherwise we will never be able to achieve great interstellar exploration in this lifetime. Liang Shizong was stunned. It was incredible. Originally, I thought Lin Chen would consult the relevant people of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering. After all, this involves knowledge of outer space. But now it seems to be completely the opposite. It feels like these people from the Academy of Aerospace Engineering who have relevant experience are asking Lin Chen for advice. Awesome, Lin Chen. But this also illustrates a problem. The feasibility of the spaceship is very high. 2 months later, the small exploration spaceship was completed. However, everyone now has a general anxiety in their hearts. Will this spaceship work? This is the question everyone is considering at the moment. Soon, everyone began to test the first spaceship of the Wangxian Empire. Pressure test completed. Internal gravity test completed. Simulation data test completed. Vacuum environment test completed. After half a month of testing, this small exploration spacecraft finally did not disappoint, and all its functions were normal. Everyone was excited, because this was not only another great testimony, but also that first step for the Empire to explore the starry sky in the future. Ha! We succeeded. Ah! Weighted voices came from the spacecraft base, and everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. The efforts were not in vain. The success of the spacecraft is another breakthrough and epoch-making progress of the Empire in the field of aerospace, and it is also capable of outer space exploration. The next day. A very grand day. Because today the small exploration spacecraft will fly to outer space for the first time and land on Mars to perform a mission. According to the plan, a 2-day exploration will be carried out on Mars. Today, not many people came to the spacecraft base. Except for Liang Shizong who brought a group of people, there was no other dignitaries, and there was no news media. Because this small exploration spacecraft was purely carried out privately by Lin Chen and the Academy of Aerospace Engineering. Not to mention the outside world, even Jingmin Jiwan didn't know that the Wangxian Empire already had a small spaceship that could conduct close-range exploration of any planet. At the moment, everyone looked solemn, standing neatly in the middle of the spaceship base, watching the people on the podium giving speeches. After Fanqi and Liang Shizong finished speaking, Lin Chen stood on the podium and gave his final speech. Today is a great day for the Empire. The spaceship opposite me will take off at 9 o'clock in the morning and enter Mars for exploration. Although this is just a project we are doing privately, no one in the outside world knows about it, and no one will report it, but it is undeniable that we are great, because we are about to enter the real stage of space exploration, and today in the future will be remembered by the world. The sound of pa seemed to tear the sky apart, and it lasted for a long time, as if something earth-shattering had happened here. There was a warm applause below, and the hands were swollen and couldn't stop. Jingxia smiled and applauded from the audience. Lin Chen has grown up and become more like a person. What is this called? Yes, straight male training. Time slowly reached 9 o'clock. Liang Shizong has suspended the air control of the 4th core. At this moment, everyone in the spaceship base turned around and looked behind them. The small exploration spaceship is about to take off. The list of this mission. Lawang and 2 Marines. Originally, Lin Chen's first flight today was, but no one dared to guarantee that everything would go smoothly on the first flight. If Lin Chen had any accidents in outer space, the Empire would never recover from it. So in the end, Lawang volunteered to replace him, and the 2 Marines protected Lawang's safety. At the time, the three people were wearing power combat suits that could penetrate into any environment. After saluting everyone, they struggled into the small exploration spaceship. The air pressure was released and the hatch closed. The spaceship began to load flight data. At this time, the base broadcast sounded. The exploration spaceship is checking the data by itself. Everyone's heart was shocked. One by one, they paid close attention to the spaceship. Soon, a series of electronic calculation sounds and the successful docking of electronic equipment were heard. Inspection completed, no abnormalities found, flight mode about to start. Whoosh, the small exploration spacecraft flew high into the sky. At this moment, everyone was looking at the direction where the spacecraft disappeared. They were shocked beyond words. Although they knew that the spacecraft would succeed, when they actually saw the spacecraft take off and disappear, they still felt a strong shock in their hearts. At the latest, the spacecraft will reach Mars in 3 hours. A real success. Everyone was so excited that they wanted to cry. Chapter 143, The Strong Empire in Secret in the Sky. At the time, a small exploration ship was so fast that it didn't need to follow the orbit of Azure Star to fly out of Azure Star. Soon after, it had left the atmosphere of Azure Star and entered the boundless universe. Azure Star. After the exploration ship flew for 10 minutes, Lin Chen and others rushed into the control room. Turn on the superpower docking video and connect to their spacecraft. Fanky hurriedly asked people to start the spark receiver made according to the structural diagram. This is a receiver with super strong receiving and sending signals, which is 100 times stronger than the previous receiver signals. Even if the spacecraft reaches Mars, they can keep in touch with the spacecraft in time. The picture of the exploration ship appeared on the huge screen. Lin Chen asked, "Old Wang, do you have any physical discomfort?" "No, I just feel stressed. I'm meeting with these two soldiers." Old Wang and the other two smiled at the screen. "Yes, they are eating and relieving their psychological pressure. It's good that you don't have psychological pressure. It's normal for you to have psychological pressure. This is everyone's emotion. Please don't worry. The exploration ship has an emergency escape cabin." Old Wang nodded seriously. "Once the exploration ship breaks down, it will automatically terminate all programs in flight to the Azure Star in the shortest time. It is equipped with an escape capsule inside. At the most critical moment, it will be launched to the Azure Space Station in outer space. After entering the space station, it will return to the Azure Star." Lin Chen asked, "How do you feel now?" "Nothing, there is gravity, just like in the house." "Where are you now, Lao Wang?" Lin Chen was halfway through his words when Lao Wang controlled the console and transmitted the scene around the exploration ship. Everyone was shocked when they saw it. The space around the spacecraft was visibly distorted, and Mars was seen in the distance, and it was extremely clear. It was a spectacular scene. If you didn't see it with your own eyes, it would be difficult to imagine the visual shock. It was so fast. It was so fast. If it weren't for the special nature of the mission, I think it would be no problem to go back and forth from Azure to Mars in one day. "No, it's 24 hours. Lao Wang said. An hour later, Lao Wang drove the exploration spacecraft into Mars and landed on Mars. On Lin Chen's side, everyone in the Aerospace Engineering Academy cheered. "We're one step closer to a stage victory." Through the video, we can see that the environment on Mars is an endless red Gobi desert. There is no other color, no living creatures, and nothing else except soil and bald mountains. This is a dead planet, but it is this planet that has many scarce mineral resources that the Azure Star and Kepler do not have. Lao Wang and his three companions tried to walk out of the exploration ship and step on the ground of Mars. The first thing, plant a flag of the Wang's Empire on Mount Olympus on Mars. The flag fluttered in the wind, symbolizing that the Wang's Empire had climbed onto the volcano. The second thing, use spray paint to graffiti on a conspicuous rock wall. Lao Wang was here. Each word is as big as a house and very conspicuous. Then he carried out a series of exploration tasks under the protection of two Marines, such as digging underground, sealing ore, nighttime Martian environment, etc. 2 days later, Lao Wang completed the exploration mission on Mars and returned to the Azure Star in 3.5 hours. And everyone in the spacecraft base has gathered together again. When the exploration ship landed in the midst of many expectant eyes, and then watched Lao Wang and the other two get off the spacecraft, the crowd exploded immediately. Awesome, Lao Wang. Lao Wang's great deeds should be recorded in history. In the future, whenever the name Lao Wang is mentioned, it will definitely become the pride of us men. From now on, we will conduct Mars exploration. People were very excited. Wang's Empire was the first to land on Wang's Empire. It won't be long before Lao Wang will become a household name. We're back. Lao Wang opened the mask of his power combat suit, revealing a look of relief. People who have not landed on Mars in person have no idea how terrifying the invisible pressure is. At the moment, he was lying on the ground with his eyes closed, breathing the air of the blue star with a look of enjoyment, enjoying the senses brought to him by this world. Lin Chen smiled and said, "Lao Wang, you have worked hard this time. For the Empire." Lao Wang spoke with a sacred face. At the same time, in the Jianmeng Empire, Pussy, who had been suppressed for a long time, could no longer bear it and broke out completely. He wanted to show off and demonstrate the strength of the Jianmeng Empire in front of the whole world. So he and the Minister of the Interior were on their way to the secret base with a gloomy face. Why has it been so long and there is no good news? Are our scientists all idiots? Pussy looked dissatisfied and was very unhappy with the inaction of his group of idiots. Originally, he thought that it would only take a few months to announce the excellence of the Jianmeng Empire to the world. He also eagerly wanted to see the leaders of various forces fawning on him. However, almost half a year has passed. During this period, the Wang's Empire has successfully shown off in the New Kingdom, while he is still waiting for the opportunity. The most hateful thing is that there is no good news. When can he show off and when can he show the strength of the Jianmeng Empire in front of the whole world? I think it may be due to the lack of experience of scientists. Didn't I add a zero after the funding? The two quickly entered the secret research base. This base can be said to be the core of the Jianmeng Empire now. The number of scientists is a terrifying number. This group not only has to study the corpses of monsters, but also study alien spaceships, transform mecha dangerous wanderers, and even build spaceships belonging to the Jianmeng Empire. Pussy found the person in charge of the base and asked in a deep voice, "What is the progress of our spaceships and the transformed dangerous wanderers?" "It will be completed in 2 months at most," the person in charge introduced. Pussy nodded. This is finally good news. Then, the person in charge led the way to visit the current comprehensive progress. The first place we came to was a huge hangar. 6 brand new huge Mechas came into view. They were all black, holding huge rifles, and their body lines were more visually impactful than the former dangerous wanderers. This is the complete form of the Mecha. Oh, God, is this really our dangerous wanderer? It's so cool. Pussy was immediately excited. Just for this appearance, take it out for a walk and you will be successful. Please don't be happy too early. At present, this Mecha has not been truly transformed. We plan to equip the Mecha with energy shields and gravity fields, so that the attack and defense of the Mecha will be greatly improved. The person in charge continued to introduce. Monsters will no longer be a threat in the future. Pussy clenched his fists excitedly. Now, he expects the transformed dangerous wanderer to show the invincible style of the Jianmeng Empire. Then, it's the most important moment to see the spaceship. Pussy and the Minister of the Interior held their breath and followed the footsteps of the head of the base to the core area of the base, the spaceship area. In this area, many scientists are studying the alien spaceship that was obtained by chance, and not far away is the spaceship that the Jianmeng Empire has built using the technology it has obtained. There is a huge round spaceship in the open area ahead. At the intersection of the lines of sight, the spaceship is round and flat, and the whole body is smooth milky white, and even emits a dazzling light under the illumination of the lights. Chapter 144. Pussy is the smartest person in human history, a long chapter full of sincerity. Please subscribe. The spacecraft is currently under construction, and many parts are not yet complete. Even so, it still makes people imagine what it will look like after it is completed. The person in charge began to introduce proudly. This spacecraft is made of super hard chrome, weighs XXX tons, is 25 meters high and 251 meters in diameter, and is equipped with plasma thrusters and material energy thrusters. Oh, fuck, why is the spacecraft exactly the same as a large white plate? Instead of the super cool spacecraft in science fiction movies. Pussy looked dissatisfied, and what he cared about at the moment was the appearance of the spacecraft. The person in charge explained. Because alien spacecraft are like this, and we made the spacecraft based on the technology developed by alien spacecraft. Pussy was still dissatisfied and said, "I don't care, you must spray paint it for me, spray it green, and turn the plate into a hat." The person in charge. Pussy asked, "What about other data?" Its flight speed is a terrifying speed of 1/5000th of the speed of light, that is, 60 kilometers per second. It only takes 1 month for our spacecraft to reach Mars. After the person in charge introduced it, Pussy finally smiled and nodded. In addition to the appearance, he was very satisfied with such data. At present, before all the technology of alien spacecraft has been fully researched, such a great spacecraft has been built. It only takes 1 month to reach Mars. This is simply the pride of human history. Pussy is very satisfied now, very satisfied. At the time, I will hold a global press conference and announce that the Jianmeng Empire has entered the interstellar exploration stage, which will definitely piss off those stinky brothers. Pussy can't help but let go of his mentality, smiling from ear to ear, and said, "You have done a good job. Try to use the shortest time to research better technology from alien spacecraft to improve the speed of our own spacecraft." The person in charge nodded and reported again. "Based on the current progress of the spacecraft, we will be able to successfully manufacture it in another 2.5 months, and then we can launch it after half a month of testing and debugging. It's so slow." Pussy was dissatisfied, and he had to wait. "We still need to transform the Mecha. Stop the transformation of the Mecha and give priority to manufacturing spacecraft. 1.5 months should be no problem." "Very good. In order to achieve better results, I will let everyone in the world know that our Jianmeng Empire is about to complete the greatest feat in history." After saying that, Pussy excitedly left the base and prepared to announce the cosmic data to the world. Pussy returned to the office and immediately worked out a new strategy with the Minister of the Interior and implemented it quickly. The Jianmeng Empire soon made a big move. Publicize the information about Mars. In order to achieve the goal, on the official website of the Jianmeng Empire, as long as you answer a series of astronomical questions, you will receive a small amount of money reward. As for foreign groups, Pussy also considered that if diplomatic relations are established, the official website of the Jianmeng Embassy of that country will also give the correct answer to a set of solar system-related information, mainly Mars, in the form of questions. Although the reward value is not high, it is free to get. What the hell is that old thing Pussy doing? On this day, the leaders of various forces around the world were all stunned, looking at the rewards of the Jianmeng Empire in front of them, and fell into deep thought. After flipping through it again and again, searching again and again, soaking it in water, and roasting it with fire, he did not find any content containing any bad information. It was all solid astronomical data and knowledge. At the moment, the Jianmeng Empire has done such a thing, which directly caught the whole world off guard. Pussy is simply popularizing the knowledge of the solar system to mankind, which is a positive energy, but how can that old guy be so kind? He must have some ulterior motives. But nothing is forbidden, because it cannot be forbidden. In the Mecha base, Jiangxi looked at the reward Lin Chen got, and she fell into deep thought. After a long time, she asked, "Is this what you get for answering questions?" "Yes, the official website of the Jianmeng Embassy is too popular now. A free promotion to a prize has attracted countless people to answer questions on the official website," Lin Chen said. Jiangxi looked at it for a long time, but she still couldn't figure out what the old guy Pussy was doing. Could it be that the Jianmeng Empire discovered the small exploration spacecraft of the Empire? Want to use the public opinion to ask the Empire for the structural diagram of the exploration ship? Yes, even a person as good at thinking as Jiangxi did not guess Pussy's intention, let alone others. In fact, it is obvious that everyone thought too much, and was confused and led by the nose by the oversized smoke bomb thrown by Pussy. The purpose of Pussy doing this is to show off and to show the strength of the Jianmeng Empire, so he used overwhelming resources to build momentum for the spacecraft that is about to be completed. If it is announced directly and suddenly that the manned spacecraft of the Jianmeng Empire can land on Mars, most of the world's human beings will probably only think that this news is awesome without understanding the vastness of the universe. But if everyone knows astronomical knowledge in advance and knows that landing on Mars is a feat that is impossible to accomplish, the effect of the Jianmeng Empire promoting the spacecraft at this time will be completely different, because this is the real awesome. It must be said that in order to achieve a satisfactory effect of showing off, Pussy can be called the smartest one in human history. As time goes by, Pussy's propaganda begins to work. People pay more attention to the rewards of the Jianmeng Empire, and naturally they will also pay attention to the content of the rewards. A few days later, a considerable number of people around the world began to sigh about the universe after dinner. "The universe is so big, I want to see it. I just realized that compared to the vastness of the universe, our blue star is not even a bacterium. I heard that the universe is magnificent. The universe is so big that it is inestimable, and we humans can only land on the moon. I cried, let alone the solar system, we can't even land on Mars. Pussy's trick successfully ignited human fantasy about the starry sky, and also successfully made people understand that landing on Mars is a thing that is impossible to accomplish. The closest distance between Blue Star and Mars is 55 million kilometers, and the farthest is 400 million kilometers. Landing on Mars. What can we use to land? 2 months later. In the Jianmeng Empire. Pussy came to the secret research base again. Unlike the last time, he came on his own initiative, but this time he was notified by the head of the base. At the time, his face was already red with excitement, and he asked joyfully, "Why did you call me here this time?" The person in charge said, "The spacecraft has been tested and is now waiting to take off." Pussy took a deep breath, suppressed the shock in his heart, and said, "Do you have a specific mission plan?" According to the meaning of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering, we will send 20 scientists and 10 astronauts, a total of 30 people, to Mount Olympus on Mars, where we will plant the flag of our Jianmeng Empire to prove to the world that we are the first to land on Mars, and only we have the ability to land on Mars, and then conduct exploration of Mars. This plan is very good. Pussy took a deep breath. This plan coincides with his own pretentious plan, both of which are showing the strength of the Jianmeng Empire. He understands that it will not be long before the status of the Jianmeng Empire will become even more unshakable. It only takes 1 month for a manned spacecraft to land on Mars from the vast universe. Who dares to disobey in the future? Pussy asked again. Has our spaceship been named? Not yet. Pussy thought for a moment and said, our spaceship is called Enterprise. It will become a legendary spaceship with outstanding achievements in the future, just like our Enterprise aircraft carrier, and will definitely make many contributions. This name is cool. Many people in the base breathed a sigh of relief and were very satisfied with the name. Before, they were really afraid that this old man Pussy would give the first spaceship of the Jianmeng Empire a name that would destroy their worldview, such as Pussy Spaceship. Pussy nodded and said in a deep voice, "Tomorrow, I will announce the existence of the Enterprise spaceship to the world. I will show the true power of our Jianmeng Empire in front of the world. On the same day, I will announce the time for the first mission of the Enterprise spaceship." After hearing this, the people around him were excited and flushed. This time, the Jianmeng Empire will show its strength in front of the global audience. Although the Empire's Mechas were beaten by monsters and fled in panic in the previous few times, so that there were bad voices all over the world. But those people have no idea about the true power of the Jianmeng Empire. I understand your feelings. When the Enterprise returns from its mission, I think it will be time for the modified Mecha to debut. After hearing this, the others were stunned and excited. God, you have been favoring the Jianmeng Empire. The status of the Jianmeng Empire is unshakable. We have spaceships and Mechas. Who dares to disobey us in the future? Everyone was excited and screaming, just like they had been injected with chicken blood. If they didn't vent their excitement, they would feel uncomfortable all over. Pussy raised his hand to signal for silence and said, "Okay, everyone, take me to visit the Enterprise now." After a while, when Pussy led them to visit the Enterprise, he stopped in his tracks after walking a short distance. Pussy stood not far from the Enterprise, and the smile on his face gradually disappeared, and gradually became gloomy. In his sight, the outer shell of the spacecraft was still milky white. Now, no matter how he looked at it, it looked like a clean huge plate. Oh, fuck, spray the Enterprise green immediately so that the plate can become a habit. The person in charge shook his head and said, "At present, spraying paint has no practical use. Instead, it is a burden." Pussy was very dissatisfied and said, "I don't care. I don't want our Jianmeng Empire's first spaceship to be laughed at as a clean giant dinner plate." The person in charge refused and said, "Sorry, I'm the boss here. Spraying green paint will affect the signal of the spacecraft." The next day. It was a very peaceful day for the Blue Star, but at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Jianmeng Empire threw out an explosive news, causing an uproar around the world. The day after tomorrow, at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Jianmeng Empire will launch the first manned spacecraft in human history to land on Mars to perform a mission. People from all walks of life are welcome to come to the Jianmeng Empire to watch the ceremony. At the same time, the Empire will open the spacecraft live broadcast to the world. Stay tuned. A 3,200-word chapter, full of sincerity. Chapter 145. Who will be dissatisfied in the future? The information of the spacecraft is also attached at the back. Enterprise spacecraft. Pilots. 6 people. Maximum passenger capacity. 200 people. Weight. XXX tons. Size. 251 meters in diameter and 25 meters in height. Dual thrusters. Plasma thrusters, material energy thrusters, 60 kilometers per second in vacuum state. As soon as the news came out, countless people were shocked. After PUC's advanced preparation, many people now know how difficult it is to land on Mars. And now the Jianming Empire is about to launch a spacecraft to Mars, and it will take only 1 month to land on Mars at a speed of 60 kilometers per second. The most difficult feat in human history is about to be realized. Awesome, Jianming Empire. Before, many people thought that the Jianming Empire was no good. After all, them Mechas were repeatedly beaten by monsters. And now, the Jianming Empire has actually erupted with its true strength and directly announced to the world that they have the ability to land on Mars. Awesome. The Jianming Empire is worthy at being the world's overlord. Many people around the world think that spaceships should be super cool, but from the data of the Jianming Empire, the spaceship looks like a big round cake. Anyway, the current Jianming Empire is really awesome. When the people at the Jianming Empire heard the news, everyone was overjoyed and excited. Pus, I love you. Our Jianming Empire will become stronger and stronger under the leadership of Pus. God is always on the side of our Jianming Empire. Landing on Mars is something that only the Jianming Empire can do, which immediately gave countless Jianming people a strong sense of self-confidence and pride. Who will not accept it in the future? The Blue Est. At the time, the 2 ancient empires, the Imji Empire and the Faxi Empire, had lost their former glory. Looking back to the past, the 2 empires could be said to be the world's #1 and colonized the whole world. Now, let alone the Jianming Empire, even the Wangxi Empire can't catch up. The monster incident sounded the alarm for the 2 empires. They can't fall behind anymore and must catch up. So the 2 empires plan to form an alliance, contribute resources to jointly manufacture Mechas, and regain their former glory. The 2 emperors, William and Naran, are talking about the future, looking forward to the birth of the alliance's Mechas. At the time, the Jianming Empire and the Wangxi Empire will have to retreat to the second line. As a result, the relevant matters of forming an alliance have not been prepared yet, and the Jianming Empire is about to announce its landing on Mars. At present, the 2 emperors, William and Naran, have become gloomy when they hear the news of the Jianming Empire. Others don't know about the Jianming Empire, but don't Yingji and Faxa know it. The Jianming Empire is an empire composed of a group of thieves and robbers. It's okay for this garbage empire to have Mechas, but now it has the ability to land on Mars. A strong sense of jealousy arises spontaneously. Therefore, all the controversial issues before the formation of the Sun Never Sets Alliance were resolved. For the sake of the alliance, it is necessary to manufacture its own Mechas to beat the monsters, and then manufacture spaceships. Can't the spaceship of his Jianming Empire land on Mars? When our Sun Never Sets Alliance has built Mechas, we will build spaceships, and they are the kind that can land on the star Sun. Just ask them if they're afraid. At this time, the Wangxi Empire. When the news reached the country, it immediately set off an uproar. It takes a month to reach Mars at a speed of 60 kilometers per second. Is this true? It seems that we still have a long way to go with the Jianming Empire. Hehe, I heard that their Mechas are also being transformed. How powerful is such scientific research power? Why is the technology of the Jianming Empire so awesome? The countless proud Wangxi people became extremely worried at this moment. Although they have Mechas that can be called monster-killing artifacts, the actions of the Jianming Empire are always dazzling. Not long after they made energy cannons and terrifying killers, they produced the second generation of Mechas, and now they are transforming Mechas, and even have spacecraft that can fly to Mars. Because of PUC's propaganda, many people already know the distance to Mars. Now they can land on Mars, while they're extremely cautious every time they land on the Moon. This is the gap in scientific research power. For a time, people felt inferior, sad, and other complex emotions in their hearts. Because people just found out that they knew nothing about the power of the Jianming Empire. And in the Mecha base. After hearing the news from the Jianming Empire, many people were just surprised for a moment, and did not have any mentality, and continued to be busy with their own affairs. Yes, the Jianming Empire is awesome, and the spacecraft can reach Mars, but it will take a month to arrive. And the small exploration spacecraft on our side uses the warp engine and can arrive in just 3.5 hours. The difference between the two is obvious. The naked difference. The only difference is that our side is more low-key, and we don't like to make everything known to everyone like the Jianming Empire, showing our strength. Jiangxia suddenly realized and said to herself, "So this is the idea." "What idea?" Lin Chen asked. Pusa made everyone subconsciously think that landing on Mars is an unattainable thing. After that, he announced that the Jianming Empire spacecraft can land on Mars. The response brought about by this is absolutely unprecedented. It not only shows strength, but also attracts scientists from all over the world to contribute to the Jianming Empire. Jiangxia smacked her lips, with a tone of disbelief, and said, "I didn't expect that old guy Pusa has become so smart." Lin Chen. "But then again, I find it incredible that they can also develop a spaceship," Jiangxia said again. After that, she scribbled with a pen and paper, and soon, a draft drawing of a large round plate appeared in Lin Chen's sight. "Is this the plate you drew?" Lin Chen asked. "This is the spaceship of the Jianming Empire. Did you draw it wrong?" "No, it's 251 meters in diameter and 25 meters high." Lin Chen was speechless. Jiangxi's drawing was simply eye-catching. How could the Jianming Empire build a spaceship like a giant plate? 2 days were enough for the storm carefully brewed by the Jianming Empire to sweep the world. So all countries sent a large number of reporters to the Jianming Empire. Since the announcement of the news, more than 1 million Jianming people have poured into the capital of the Jianming Kingdom in just 2 days. Time soon came to the viewing time 2 days later. Today, in the Freedom Square of the Jianming capital, it has become a dark mass, with countless heads densely packed. The lawn has been trampled flat by people. The unprecedented grand scene is the best in history books, because today the Jianming Empire will launch a manned spacecraft to Mars on behalf of all mankind. At this time, countless reporters were doing various close-up reports while waiting for Pusi to appear. After a while, Pusi was smiling and walking with the wind, and he casually stepped onto the temporary podium. He had waited too long for today's show-off, and this time he would definitely succeed. It will definitely become a day that will be remembered in history in the future. Oh, God, the scene is so enthusiastic. Hello, everyone. Pusi laughed excitedly and made a joke. Suddenly, his excitement was transmitted to countless Jianming people below, and the atmosphere suddenly became lively. Great Jianming Empire. We are proud Jianming people, we are the center of the world. Ha ha, if there was no Jianming Empire, the world might still stay in the era of hundreds of years ago, so the world should thank us. Countless Jianming people cheered excitedly, and their enthusiasm was high. A manned spacecraft is about to be launched to Mars. There is no need to be submissive because of the previous failure in fighting monsters. Now, they are proud and strong men. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 146. The spacecraft that landed on Mars is indeed very unusual. The voices in the square were getting louder and louder, and they lasted for a long time. Pusi's mouth showed a slight arc as he saw all these enthusiastic scenes. Very good, this is the effect he wanted. Right now, the time is 8:10 inches the morning, and there is still a little time before the launch of the spacecraft. Pusi will make full use of this time to show the strength of the Jianming Empire in a high-profile manner. The on-site press conference began. The huge screen behind him lit up, transmitting the scene to the people far away in the square and to the audience in front of the TV. The atmosphere at the beginning of the press conference was very good. A sexy and beautiful Jianming reporter asked the first enthusiastic question. "Mr. Pusi, what mission will our Jianming Empire spacecraft carry out on Mars?" "The spacecraft will land near Mount Olympus on Mars, and then plant the national flag and carry out the exploration mission. At the time, we will use powerful technology to broadcast the real-time images of Mars to the world, so that the world will know that this is a small step for the Jianming Empire and a big step for the world." Pusi showed great confidence in the face of reporters' questions. It was this confidence that infected every Jianming person present, and also infected all the people of Jianming Empire through live broadcast. That kind of self-confidence and confidence were all tightly provoking the nerves of countless Jianming people, so that everyone had an extremely arrogant mentality. In the future, nothing can stop the progress of Jianming Empire. The polar reporter smiled and asked, Excuse me, Mr. Pussy, can your country's spacecraft land on Mars? Is there a possibility of disintegration halfway? Before Pussy spoke, reporters from the two empires of the Sun Never Sets Alliance also asked, excuse me, if the spacecraft breaks down on Mars, will those astronauts die on Mars? A reporter also asked, excuse me, your country does not develop its military power but gives priority to the development of aviation. Is this a disregard for the lives of the people? When the 5 blue hooligans get together, nothing good ever happens. Just like now, the pretentious meeting that originally belonged to Pussy has become a cold sarcasm of the 4 empires against the Jianweng Empire. Countless Jianweng people were shocked. Damn it, these 4 empires must be jealous, and they can't bear to see the great Jianweng Empire become stronger. Pussy's face was not very good, and he said in a deep voice, the spacecraft of the Jianweng Empire will definitely not have any mistakes, and the spacecraft is just one of the projects of the Jianweng Empire. We will show the most powerful mecha in 3 months. I hope that there will be monsters coming out to die at the time. Countless Jianweng people were once again infected by Pussy's strong self-confidence, and their faces were flushed with excitement. Time is running out, and the time to launch the spacecraft at 9 o'clock in the morning is getting closer and closer. At this moment, the whole world is waiting for the spacecraft of the Jianweng Empire. The big screen behind Pussy also went black, but many cameras were still facing the screen, because they would see the spacecraft there. And he himself regained his previous spirits, and Lin Chen announced, everyone, the historic moment has arrived. Now I press this button, and the spacecraft of the Jianweng Empire will take the farthest step in human history. There was a fake launch button on the small table in front of him for pretending. Then he pressed it without hesitation in front of everyone. At the same time, Mechas, who was waiting in the secret base, shook his head and pressed the real spacecraft launch button. 9 o'clock sharp. This moment really attracted global attention. The screen behind Pussy lit up, and the Enterprise spacecraft flying to Mars appeared on the screen, and this picture was also broadcast live to the world. Here it comes, our Enterprise spacecraft is about to appear. On the screen, a huge monster was slowly rising. When it flew higher and flew into the sky, its entire appearance was completely displayed in front of the scene and all TV viewers. The Enterprise spacecraft was not rising very fast, so the milky white color and flat round shape of the spacecraft could be clearly seen through the screen. Jianweng Empire. Imskin Empire. The whole world. What the hell? Wasn't it a spacecraft? Why did the Jianweng Empire launch a giant plate? The spacecraft that landed on Mars is really unusual. At this time, Lin Chen looked at the draft drawn by Jiang's ship, which was really vivid. On the scene, a black guy shouted excitedly, "Oh, is that flying plate the Enterprise of our Jianweng Empire?" Although the shape of the Enterprise is really hard to compliment, the enthusiasm of the Jianweng Empire is far beyond everyone's imagination. They still love the Enterprise. One by one, they were excited and tears filled their eyes, shouting long like the Jianweng Empire, full of hope for the future. As the Enterprise on the screen has entered outer space, the shocking opening ceremony that shocked the world officially ended in the Freedom Square of the Jianweng Empire. People's enthusiasm has slowed down. Pussy knew that today was just a small ignition point, which was normal. When we arrived on Mars, it would be a real big ignition point. By then, the whole Jianweng Empire will have a week of carnival. Pussy Lin Chen said, "Okay, everyone, be quiet, our Enterprise is sailing to Mars, let's take a look at the astronauts and scientists below." The screen turned and became the interior of the Enterprise. The clean interior space is very clean and tidy, all of which are incomprehensible high-tech. Because the personnel inside lost gravity, they performed a 365-degree flip without dead angles, and countless Jianweng people were excited again. Pussy smiled and nodded, very satisfied with the effect of pretending today. Although there were some small mistakes on the scene, such as the 4 Stinky brothers making trouble, but generally speaking, pretending was successful, and the live broadcast did not fail. Cool. In a month, our Jianweng Empire will use technical means to realize the global sharing of Mars live broadcast. Pussy announced loudly. Aha! Countless Jianweng people jumped up excitedly. On this day, the Jianweng Empire was happy, but the whole world was not happy. If the Jianweng Empire can really land on Mars successfully, then everyone will always be far behind that Jianweng Empire in the future. So the countries added pressure, and they had no idea about researching Mechas. Do they have to increase their research on aerospace technology now? At the time, Lun Gamo of the Gakka Kingdom said sourly, "No, we also want to land on Mars. We can't even land on the moon at present." Everyone was shocked when they heard it. Is this old guy joking? After a long time, Lungamo realized the reality and sighed, "Alas, if our country of Gakka can land on Mars, we will be one step closer to rising." Everyone felt that Lungamo had realized the reality, and they breathed a sigh of relief while still keeping a close watch on him. Although they were envious, they hoped that he would not play any more tricks. It was okay to say that Mechas could be regarded as Mechas by welding a few excavators, but spaceships fly to outer space, and welding a few helicopters is completely useless. After a while, everyone left Lungamo's office one after another, but the Minister of the Interior did not leave. "Why are we landing on Mars?" The Minister of the Interior looked mysterious, as if he had found something crucial in his mind. In fact, landing on Mars is not difficult. Chapter 147 is so wonderful, please subscribe. In fact, for a country like Gakka that is determined to rise, the benefits of landing on Mars are not great. They care more about the reputation of landing on Mars. Lungamo did not understand what the Minister of the Interior meant, but just said what landing on Mars could gain for Gakka. The actual use of landing on Mars is not great. We are mainly for reputation. With this reputation of landing on Mars, our Gakka country will be one step closer to rising. Not only can it attract a large number of scientists, but also a large number of diplomatic relations. The Minister of the Interior whispered, "If that's all, I seem to have a way to land on Mars." "What method? Tell me quickly." Lungamo immediately became interested. "I need 3 passenger planes and a huge uninhabited site." Lungamo looked at the other party in confusion. The Minister of the Interior whispered a few words in Lungamo's ear, telling him how to land on Mars, and then the latter's eyes suddenly lit up, and even his breathing began to quicken. "Wonderful, wonderful. Isn't it a spaceship if a few passenger planes are modified? Why do we have to land on Mars? Why not just find a deserted place to simulate the environment of Mars? Find a few more people to create the illusion of landing on Mars. No one will know anyway. Wonderful, it's really wonderful. Okay, let's do it this way. When the spacecraft of the Jianmeng Empire comes back, we will announce that we can also land on Mars." Lun Gama said with a smile. "As long as we have the reputation of successfully landing on Mars, why worry that scientists from all over the world will not come to work in the Gakka Kingdom? In the Wangxi Empire, people are also worried about the landing of that Jianmeng Empire on Mars." Jiangmen Jiwan lay on the hospital bed and sighed, "Alas, this time I really lost to that old guy pussy. We planned to launch a probe to Mars in 5 years, but now they have launched a manned spacecraft to land on Mars. Dad, since our Aerospace Engineering Academy has no real ability, I think maybe Lin Chen can research a spacecraft." Jiang sat by the bed with her 2 underage brothers and expressed her thoughts. "If we talk about the future of the Empire, it can be said that it all depends on Lin Chen's shoulders. Although it is the Empire that has made him what he is today, it is also he who has made the Empire what it is today. If he can really develop a spaceship and make such a great contribution, I will allow him to be my son-in-law." Jiangmen Jiwan looked depressed. She and Lin Chen were destined to be entangled. As long as they could build a spaceship, they could just make a fuss about this contribution. Although he was very unhappy before, he was unhappy. In the future, only she could tie Lin Chen's heart. "Dad, what are you talking about?" Jiangxi blushed. She was only 19 this year, which was too early. Jiangmen Jiwan said, "Lin Chen is awesome at building Mechas, is he also awesome at building spaceships?" "I don't believe it, anyway, I just don't believe it, because these are 2 completely different fields of technology. It is precisely because of this that he made such a boast." A month later, the Jianmeng Empire sent out news again. Their spaceship is about to arrive on Mars. And they are not idle either. The confident Jianmeng Empire will naturally not miss this opportunity to publicize its strength. All satellites are dispatched. Major TV stations around the world can receive the images sent back by the Enterprise spacecraft. On this day, nearly half of the factories in the world were shut down, and countless people watched the TV and waited eagerly for the Jianmeng Empire to send the picture of landing on Mars. The whole world was not calm on this day. Is the Jianmeng Empire spacecraft really going to land on Mars? Although they were very upset and didn't want to see the Jianmeng Empire spacecraft arriving on Mars, many people still went to the Jianmeng Empire to congratulate them, at least to save face. After all, this is a big step for mankind to explore the starry sky. For this reason, Yan Ming, who was engaged in construction on Kepler planet, hurriedly put down the matters at hand and rushed to the Jianmeng Empire. As a result, the world's prominent figures gathered in the Jianmeng Empire again to offer their congratulations. The Jianmeng Empire's temporary venue was as grand as a world conference. The spirited Pussy became the most eye-catching focus of the scene. As soon as he appeared, he immediately welcomed many people's flattery. Everyone, in another hour, our Enterprise spacecraft will enter Mars. Under the witness of history, we should remember this day and the contribution made by the Jianmeng Empire to all mankind. Pussy announced. There was a warm applause from the audience. Many fierce reporters were even more enthusiastic. Then, Pussy followed the reporters and frequently found faults everywhere to show off to the world. After laughing at the red-faced and thick-necked Night Gidim, Pussy found Yan Ming standing in the corner. Pussy smiled evilly and raised his eyebrows. It will be interesting soon. At the time, Yan Ming was negotiating trade with the Kiba Kingdom and the Diania Kingdom, and not far away was Lun Gumo, who was about to turn his nose up to the sky. Several people were puzzled since they entered the venue. Why did Lun Gumo become so arrogant? Pussy walked over and said with a smile, "Hello, Mr. Yang, I heard that your Wang's Empire plans to launch an unmanned probe to Mars in 5 years. In my opinion, why don't we let our Enterprise spacecraft take this probe there?" Yan Ming and several younger brothers. "Oh, did this old guy finally succeed in pretending to be cruel? I don't want to talk to you now. Please stay away from me," Yan Ming said calmly. This scene was also broadcast live to the world by reporters. Countless Jianmeng people were so excited. "Ha ha ha, I heard that Yang Ming is the general manager of the Wang's Empire, and now he has been rebuked by the Great Majesty Pussy and has nothing to say. It feels so good, so good." Many Jianmeng people swept away the haze that was previously suppressed by the Wang's Mecha. From now on, the Enterprise spacecraft will build the backbone of the Jianmeng Empire. The people of the Wang's Empire cursed and beat their chests. Yan Ming was rebuked by Pussy today and had nothing to say, which made them feel aggrieved. Pussy smacked his lips. He felt very bored with Yan Ming's indifference. The effect of his pretense was greatly reduced. Now he urgently wanted to see someone jump out and say some bold words in a sour tone, and then he would ruthlessly let the other party recognize the cruelty of reality. So the next target appeared, and Lun Gumo also caught his attention. This old thing actually put on an expression with his nose up to the sky. Pussy said in surprise, "Hi, old friend Lun Gumo, long time no see. I wonder what you think of our Enterprise spacecraft landing on Mars." "TSK, no opinion, anyway, our Gaka country is about to land on Mars." Pussy was showing off, and so was Lun Gumo. In fact, he had long been looking forward to Pussy coming to show off so that he could take the opportunity to show off. With just this sentence, the scene became silent, and many people were stunned. Is even the Gaka country going to land on Mars? Although it was unbelievable and wanted to sneer, when they saw Lun Gumo's arrogant look that didn't seem to be fake, many people were shaken. This time, maybe the Gaka country will really turn over. Awesome. Lun Gumo's words were also broadcast live to the world. Going at this moment, countless Gaka people were jealous of the Jianmeng Empire for being able to land on Mars, but after hearing Lun Gumo's words, everyone opened their eyes wide and swallowed hard, and became unbelievable. Is the Gaka country rising? Overjoyed. Chapter 148. Coincidences must be coincidences. But Pussy was very upset. Today was the show-off scene that he had carefully planned, but the old man Lun Gumo snatched away his protagonist halo by showing off. I can't stand it. This old man still wants to land on Mars. He must have drunk too much cow urine. The only country in the world that can land on Mars is the great Jianmeng Empire. Oh, then I have to wait for good news from the Kingdom of Gaka. Pussy said dissatisfiedly. It's just landing on Mars, it's not a big deal. Lun Gumo began to let himself go. Pussy's face became more gloomy. This old man, he is still showing off, right? He no longer paid attention to Lun Gumo, and re-entered the stage in the eyes of the crowd, announcing loudly, "The time is almost up, I think the Enterprise spacecraft should arrive on Mars." Later, Pussy contacted and confirmed that it was correct, and immediately asked the people in the secret base to use technology to broadcast the images of Mars to the world. At this moment, everyone at the scene looked at the huge screen on the wall, and even the global audience held their breath. The snow on the screen gradually became clear, and what came into view was a planet with only dark red and yellow. Never before in history has there been such a clear picture of Mars. So spectacular. Audiences around the world couldn't help but swallow their saliva. And this scene was seen by the people of Jianweng Empire. Everyone couldn't help but follow the Enterprise and get excited, and even couldn't help cheering. Long live Jianweng Empire! Long live Enterprise! The first to land on Mars are our astronauts. They are the pride of Jianweng Empire and the pride of all mankind. Looking at the whole world, only our Jianweng Empire has the ability to land on Mars. This is the real power of the Empire. Countless Jianweng people were so excited that they felt a sense of pride brewing in their chests. Because Jianweng Empire has written history again. At the scene of the leaders of various countries, everyone was forcing a smile, while Pussy was excited and blushing, clenching his fists tightly. It was about to succeed. It seemed that God was really on the side of Jianweng Empire, and it was worth it for him to use a lot of resources to build momentum. Pussy never thought that this time the live broadcast would fail. Because there is no Wang's Empire on Mars, this shitty empire seems to spread bad luck. Often whoever pretends to be cool will eventually fall ruthlessly. But this time is different. This time pretending to be cool on Mars, this time showing the strength of the Jianmeng Empire on Mars is about to succeed. At this time, the screen turned, and the scientists and astronauts of the Enterprise spacecraft appeared on the screen. After greeting the TV audience and showing off some fancy tricks of zero gravity, these people said seriously, "Hello friends from the Azure Star, the spacecraft is about to land on Mars. As the first spacecraft to land on Mars, we will carry out a 5-day sacred mission on Mount Olympus on Mars." One by one, the Jianmeng people clenched their fists tightly, excited. At this moment, Lin Chen's face suddenly changed. "What's wrong? Where do you feel uncomfortable?" Jiangxia asked hurriedly. "Not good, Lao Wang's deeds will be known to the whole world now." Jiangxia. Not long after, the Enterprise spacecraft has successfully entered Mars. A pilot laughed and said, "It seems that we have accomplished a great feat in human history. This location seems to be not far from Mount Olympus." A scientist holding a map said, "Very good." Then, the Enterprise spacecraft was fully powered, heading towards Mount Olympus while broadcasting its strength to the Azure Star. Soon, the outline of Mount Olympus was getting closer and closer. "What is that?" At this moment, everyone on the Enterprise spacecraft was exclaiming. There was a touch of green visible to the naked eye on the rock wall in the distance. This is a major discovery. The planet dominated by red and yellow actually has green. Look, that green is so bright and so intoxicating. And this scene immediately attracted the attention of Azure Star. Countless scientists on Azure Star breathed quickly. The Jianmeng Empire was faster and immediately formed a team of top scientists in various fields from biology to biochemistry to analyze the major discoveries on Mars. In a very short time, scientists came to a unanimous conclusion. The green was a plant similar to a vine, which may indicate that Mars is very likely to have living things, and even civilization had appeared a long time ago. This is a major discovery in human history, with irrefutable evidence. Then, when the Enterprise spacecraft got closer, all the scientists of the Jianmeng Empire were collectively speechless. That was not a plant at all, but a group of mysterious signals, each of which was several meters large. Even so, countless Jianmeng people were extremely excited. Because this was a major discovery belonging to the Jianmeng Empire, and textbooks all over the world will remember today's major discovery in the future. Wow, our heroes of the Jianmeng Empire have made a major discovery just after landing on Mars. So exciting, from now on Mars will become a colony of our Jianmeng Empire. Excited and excited, this is the national condition of the Jianmeng Empire at this moment. The pride in the hearts of countless Jianmeng people is unprecedented. At this time, the information on the rock wall attracted Yang Ming's attention. He frowned for a long time, his face showed surprise, he touched his chin, and said to himself in confusion, "That seems to be our Wang's text, has Lao Wang been here?" At this moment, all the viewers in front of the TV in the Wang's Empire couldn't believe it. At this moment, except for Lin Chen and a few other people, everyone in the Wang's Empire was collectively speechless. Everyone was puzzled, unbelievable, and incomprehensible. That's right, that was indeed the text of the Wang's Empire. How could the text of the Empire appear on Mars? The question is, what kind of Lao Wang is so powerful that he would go to Mars? Isn't Lao Wang the Lao Wang next door? Just when the Jianmeng people were still excited. In the end, there were netizens who studied abroad in the Wang's Empire who couldn't stand it anymore. They took out the Xinhua dictionary and expressed their opinions. That seems to be the text of the Wang's Empire. At this moment, the Jianmeng Empire was quiet, and the streets were silent. The laughter of countless Jianmeng people stopped abruptly, and they stood there motionless with dull faces. For a long time impossible. Oh no. Countless Jianmeng people watched helplessly as netizens produced hard evidence, and then one by one they held their heads and screamed in pain. The Enterprise spacecraft that they had high hopes for was not the first to land on Mars. The previous second, they were still shouting that the Jianmeng Empire represented all mankind to land on Mars, which made people's blood boil, but the next second, how could it be the second to land on Mars? It's hard to accept. Fuck. Could it be that even if the great Jianmeng Empire arrived on Mars, it still couldn't get rid of the hateful Wang's Empire? Now it seems that the old Wang was here is so disgusting that it makes people want to vomit. Here. Pussy was still boasting to Samuel Tucky Kingdom. After a while, the Minister of the Interior hurried in and whispered a few words in his ear about the text messages on Mars. Pussy was immediately shocked and angry. Oh, fuck. Those mysterious signals turned out to be the Wangxian characters, no wonder they look more and more familiar. It's a mess, has the live broadcast messed up again? Why is it that every time there is a mess, there is always the damn Wangxian Empire? He glanced at Yang Ming and found that the latter was also puzzled and in a completely confused state. What's going on? Since it's the characters of the Wang's Empire, they should have launched a spacecraft. Could it be that they're so low-key that they even concealed it from their own leader Yang Ming? Pussy was confused and disoriented. However, in order to regain the confidence and pride of the people, the Jianmeng Empire would explain clearly how the characters of the Wang's Empire came from. In short, it is impossible for the spacecraft of the Wang's Empire to land on Mars, never. That's right. It must not land on Mars before the Enterprise spacecraft. Therefore, because Pussy was unable to spare the time, the Minister of the Interior and Mitsun urgently came up with a set of explanation plans. Soon a press conference was held to disclose some sorted information. At the press conference, Mitsun started to brag. The one who drew tanks and 500-year-old Mechas. The space of the universe can be distorted. According to this situation, we usually call it crossing. This is a coincidence, that is, it is transmitted from one place to another. According to the calculations of our scientists, it is difficult for a crossing event to occur in millions of years. There is a high probability that it is due to the instability of time and space that these characters crossed to Mars. Everything is just a coincidence. From these huge graffiti that have traveled to Mars, we can understand how low the quality of the Wang's Empire is. Just now, an enthusiastic netizen provided several photos of the Great Wall of the Wang's Empire. The graffiti on the photos perfectly matches the graffiti on Mars. In short, they just do whatever it takes to make the people believe, and then take out a few photoshopped pictures to discredit the Wangxian Empire. Perfect. After too much exaggeration, the people of the Jianmeng Empire believed it, especially when there was evidence. One by one, the Jianmeng people straightened their proud chests again and began to look down on everyone. Wow, it turned out to be a false alarm. I told you that our Jianmeng Empire is the strongest. Ha ha ha, now the Wangxian Empire has embarrassed the whole world. Their graffiti has traveled to Mars. It turns out that the quality of the Wangxian Empire is so low. It's disgusting. The excitement of the Jianmeng Empire remains, and even the vast majority of the global audience generally chooses to believe the Jianmeng Empire. After all, they have truly landed on Mars, and there is no need to lie with such a powerful force. So those graffiti on Mars are all time travel. However, the slap in the face came as fast as a tornado, so fast that it caught people off guard. The live broadcast of the Enterprise spacecraft continued. Under the control of the pilot, it flew over a hill and sent back a set of pictures. This time the whole world was quiet. In the live broadcast, the flag of the Wang's Empire was fluttering in the wind, and there was a dense patch of footprints on the red soil and sand. Thanks to Lee for the reward. Thanks to my brothers and sisters for the monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Thank you. Chapter 149. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. At this moment, the whole world was speechless. Wangxian Empire. Jiangmingjuan. Yanming. What happened? Who can tell us why our flag is still flying in the wind on Mars? And in Jianmeng Empire, countless Jianmeng people, at this moment, the joy that had just been restored on their faces was gone, and they looked like they were about to explode at any time. It is difficult for a time travel event to occur in millions of years. So what is going on now? Why are there still footprints and the flag of Wang's Empire? At the press conference, Mechas was forcing a smile on his face, but in fact he was cursing the Enterprise spacecraft in his heart. He finally blew it through, but it turned out to be a mess again. So angry. He had to blow it again. Coincidence? This should be because the time and space distortion is more serious, so the range of crossing is wider. But it was no use at all. After experiencing the constant changes of ecstasy, disappointment, joy, despair and so on, the emotions of Jianming Empire completely collapsed. Previously, the overwhelming propaganda boasted that the Jianming Empire represented all mankind to land on Mars for the first time, which was a great step forward for mankind. As a result, everything was exposed as soon as they arrived on Mars. It was all a lie. Damn Pussy, damn Mechas, the two pigs are actually working together to deceive us. We have been ruthlessly fooled again and again. Ah, fuck, why are we like a group of idiots, always being deceived by the old thing Pussy? Damn the top leaders, they have never changed their habit of eating shit, always thinking that we are easy to deceive, and now that Mechas is still deceiving us seriously. Plus must be a spy of the Jianming Empire, otherwise why does he use practical actions every time to promote the Wangxian Empire? I heard that many people in the Wangxian Empire affectionately call Pussy a comrade. At this moment, countless people roared in anger. If it is time and space teleportation, it is difficult to happen once in millions of years. Can even the flag of the Wangxian Empire be teleported, and there are also those dense footprints? Or did the Wangxian Empire exist millions of years ago? What a joke. Meanwhile, in the Wangxian Empire, the Jianming Empire was in a state of collective collapse, but here everyone was laughing. Ah, the appearance of the national flag has blinded my eyes. What did I see? Our national flag was planted on Mars. The gift from the Enterprise is so big, we accepted it. I'm dying of laughter. It turns out that the Jianming Empire's painstaking performance was all paving the way for us. The people of the Empire were very happy. However, Jianming Jiwan couldn't laugh at all. Although Mars was planted with the flag of the Empire, he had no idea what was going on. Could it be that he had traveled through time as that Mechas said? Jianming Jiwan asked his secretary to contact the Dean of the Academy of Aerospace Engineering. Then, he asked, Old Fang, has there been any progress in the recent Mars probe project of our Academy of Aerospace Engineering? What progress can there be? I have stopped the low-end project of the probe. Fanky said carelessly. Jianming Jiwan. After Fanky realized what he had done, he immediately realized his abruptness and hurriedly explained, we are building a second small exploration spacecraft, so we terminated the exploration project. Jianming Jiwan was stunned and asked in surprise, what is a small exploration spacecraft? I didn't approve it. Where did you get the resources? No need. Our Institute of Aerospace Engineering is planning to move to the spacecraft base, and all resources will be allocated from the Mecha base. Jianming Jiwan was completely embarrassed. What is a spacecraft base? How come he doesn't know anything about it? Fanky carefully explained the whole story, including the birth of the first small exploration spacecraft and the successful landing on Mars to perform the mission. Jianming Jiwan was shocked after listening. It turned out that everything on Mars was really done by the Empire. He was also a little annoyed. Lin Chen was so willful that he built a base and a spacecraft privately. Shouldn't he report it to the higher-ups? Yes, Lin Chen once again shaped the history of the Empire with practical actions. Awesome. However, Jianming Jiwan was so happy that he was heartbroken. It seemed that his little lover really couldn't be saved this time. Is the promise going to be fulfilled? Jianming Jiwan hung up the phone, smacked his lips and said, is the guy really going to be my son-in-law? Jiang. This person must be won over and must be taken seriously. He can make things like Mechas and spaceships. What else do you think we can reward him with? Jianming Jiwan said in a deep voice. Jiang shook her head, as if she had nothing to show for him except for the promise of a lifetime event. When she thought of this, her breathing became slightly rapid. She had no feelings for Lin Chen, but she liked his potential. Such a person was more valuable than any young talent, and was worthy of a princess of a country. So your sister can only become a victim of politics. Jiang's face changed. It was not herself, but that wild girl. Who was she? Apart from her figure and appearance, she was almost useless. How could such a good thing be given to that wild girl? She was not convinced, very dissatisfied, and she had to take away everything that belonged to her. Do you think it's inappropriate? Jianming Jiwan asked.
Jianqi lowered her eyes, her nails digging into her flesh, and whispered, "Dad, I think it's inappropriate. Since we want to show that we value Lin Chen, we must not be perfunctory, so it's better to find a woman who is cultured, knows etiquette, and has a good temper, so that both families can be relieved, instead of quarreling every other day." Jiang Minjiwan nodded and said in a deep voice, "You're right, it seems that your sister can't do it." "Absolutely not. With she's personality. If she makes other people's parents angry, it will be very embarrassing." Jiang smiled and said, "Dad, don't be angry, actually my sister is very good, it's just that she didn't learn these things since she was a child, maybe she has her own difficulties. You don't have to speak for her. She is so impatient and doesn't know what culture is. She is definitely not good enough." Jiang Minjiwan was a little dissatisfied. If she was half as well behaved as you, he wouldn't have to worry so much. When talking about his second daughter, Jiang Minjiwan was very satisfied. She was well behaved, sensible and obedient. Even though she was very unfriendly to you, he still spoke well of her sister behind her back. Sometimes he even doubted whether she was his own daughter. They were all the same father's children, so why was there such a big difference? Then, he instantly found a suitable candidate. The eldest daughter would only confront people, but the second daughter's personality was completely different. She would be pleasing to others, so he could rest assured. Moreover, she was also a princess, and her status was important enough. What do you feel about Lin Chen?" Dad. Jiang was shy and buried her head in her chest. Jiang Minjiwan felt that there was no problem. He was the best candidate. Whether it was her personality, temper, etiquette, etc. She perfectly met the standards of a daughter-in-law. At this time, at the scene where all countries gathered, the scene had become very weird. "Oh, fuck." Pussy's face turned completely black. The appearance of Wang Xin's national flag was unexpected. It also showed that all his previous efforts had failed, whether it was the global free popular science of the solar system or the global promotion live broadcast. In the end, all the benefit went to the Wang Xin Empire. Now it seems that their national flag is so disgusting that it makes people want to vomit. He stared at Yang Ming not far away. Yang Ming, who was in the corner, was not even a supporting role, but he became the most eye-catching focus of the scene, taking away all the halo that belonged to him and the Jianming Empire. Damn it. Why is it that this ship like Wang's Empire always makes trouble? At the time, Yang Ming's face was still full of inexplicable confusion. Why there are worlds and national flags on Mars? What happened? Compliments kept ringing around him. Yang Ming smiled awkwardly and said with some confidence, "We're relatively low-key. We don't want to bother other countries with the landing on Mars." Pussy was almost furious and hurriedly ended this pretentious meeting that should have belonged to him. On this day, the whole world knew that there was a person named Lao Wang in the Wang's Empire, and the whole world was looking for Lao Wang. Because Lao Wang is a completely mysterious existence. Although there are all kinds of evidences of the Wang's Empire on Mars, in the end no one has come up with a reasonable explanation. So this Lao Wang has become the key to the problem. As long as Lao Wang is found, all the puzzles will be solved. However, after research, countries around the world have found Lao Wang's deeds. This guy is really terrifying. He actually appears next to beautiful women. However, how could this Lao Wang be the Lao Wang on Mars? At night, Pussy did not pay too much attention to Lao Wang. For the Jianming Empire, it is no longer important whether the Wang's Empire landed on Mars. The most important thing now is how to let the people regain their confidence and the pride of being Jianming people. Why is it the Wang's Empire again? Fuck. Pussy thought for a long time. Every time he thought of his painstaking pretense and display of strength, which eventually paved the way for the Wang's Empire, he felt that he was about to explode. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became, and the more he thought about it, the more he lost. Pussy finally exploded, and at the moment of the explosion, he also found a way to save his image. Damn it, I must avenge myself. Thanks for the reward from Pocket Empty, as well as the monthly tickets and recommendation votes from all the big guys. Chapter 150. The new battlefield between the two empires. As we all know, the only flags known on Mars now are the Enterprise and the flag of the Wang's Empire. So even if they do something, the Wang's Empire has no way to deal with it. They are so angry. Pussy sneered and immediately contacted the Enterprise. The pride of the Jianming Empire, cheer up and continue the live broadcast tomorrow. Still live broadcast. Everyone was shocked.
Although they didn't know the situation on the Azure Star, since they saw the flag of the Wang's Empire fluttering in the wind, they had a premonition that they would be ruthlessly overturned again. That's right, this time the live broadcast will knock down the flag of the Wang's Empire and plant the flag of our Jianming Empire in its original position. Pussy was furious. This is not good, it means that both sides will tear each other apart. After saying this, Pussy immediately regained his composure. Indeed, if the live broadcast knocked down the flag of the Wang's Empire, it would be equivalent to the two sides tearing each other apart directly. He thought about it and said, then plant all the flags you brought around me, so that the audience of the live broadcast will see that there is only our flag, but not the flag of the Wang's Empire. Since tearing each other apart doesn't work, then provoke competition. Pussy never thought that the Wang's Empire could do anything. Could a spacecraft be more powerful than the Enterprise? Impossible. The Enterprise was built based on a technology that was 1,000 years ahead. At a speed of 60 kilometers per second, it could land on Mars in just 1 month, while the Wang's Empire spacecraft might have waited a long time to reach Mars. Maybe they have never landed on Mars at all. Astronauts and scientists far away on Mars gave Pussy a thumbs up. He is worthy at being Pussy, and worthy at being the pride of the Jianming Empire. His bad ideas come one after another. With the existence of Pussy, the Jianming Empire will become the center of the world in the future. Tomorrow, we will definitely win back everything we lost today from the flag of the Wang's Empire. At this moment, everyone in the Enterprise spacecraft far away on Mars was full of confidence. The next day, early in the morning, Yan Ming took a plane back to the Empire. He didn't even have time to rest on the land that nurtured him, and he received a message to meet up with the seriously ill Jiang Mingjuan. Isn't this old thing pretending to be sick? Yan Ming was very surprised. It was no secret that Jiang Mingjuan was seriously ill, but there was no news that he was dying. Soon, Jiang Mingjuan's convoy arrived and told him that he was going to find Lin Chen. What are you going there for? It was not that Jiang Ming had any prejudice against Lin Chen. After all, he and Lin Chen were comrades in on Kepler, but he was a little overwhelmed. Go and see our spaceship, and encourage him by the way. Yan Ming. I only found out yesterday that the national flag on Mars was our doing. What do you mean? Lin Chen secretly built a spaceship with the people from the Academy of Aerospace Engineering, so the national flag on Mars was actually planted there by our people. Yan Ming was shocked. Why is it that guy again? Mecha, VR cabin, particle weapons, power combat suits, and now he has built a spaceship. Is he really still alone? Surprised? Jiang Mingjuan asked with a smile. Yan Ming squinted and nodded, with a bit of amusement at fate. He never thought that there would be such a day, when external pressure would force two forces that were almost incompatible to put aside their past grudges, and he never thought that there would be such a day, when a young man would frequently create the history of the Empire. A spaceship flying to Mars, this achievement is no less than resisting monsters. Soon, the convoy arrived at the Mecha base and took the opportunity to look at the Empire's new spaceship base from a distance. It was fascinating, because there was a spaceship that had landed on Mars. After arriving at the base, Lin Chen led people to greet them and smiled, "Welcome, welcome." Jiang Mingjuan's tone was a little sour, and he said, "You're really cocky. We saw it before we came. Such a large project was hidden from everyone. It's normal. Anyway, there is no shortage of resources." Lin Chen said again, "Are you here for something?" Yan Ming's breathing began to speed up slightly. "Let's take a look at the Empire's first spaceship." Lin Chen nodded. Then after arrangements, Lin Chen took them to the spaceship base to visit a small exploration spaceship. After a moment of amazement, Yan Ming asked, "Why is our spaceship so beautiful, while the spaceship of the Jianming Empire is like a big plate?" Yes, this small exploration spaceship looks very much like a flying machine in a science fiction movie, with an appearance that is extremely in line with human aesthetics, while the one of the Jianming Empire is no longer a spaceship, but a flying saucer, like a big plate. "How should I know?" Lin Chen said. Jiang Mingjuan was about to say something, such as asking Lin Chen's parents to prepare themselves mentally, but at this time, the Jianming Empire played tricks again. Both Pussy and the top leaders of the Jianming Empire were full of confidence in today's live broadcast of the Mars mission. Yesterday's live broadcast failed, but it didn't matter. Today, we will start with the flag of the Wang's Empire and take back everything that should belong to the Jianming Empire. The Jianming Empire started live broadcasting again to show the strength of the Empire. This time, the number of online viewers reached 3 billion. The world is paying attention, and many people are curious about where the mysterious confidence of the Jianming Empire comes from. It was obvious that yesterday's live broadcast failed and they hurriedly closed the door to broadcast, but today it revived again. And some groups that had just recovered from their mental breakdown were almost crying when they heard that they were going to broadcast Mars live again to show the strength of the Empire. Oh no, that old guy Pussy is going to bring disaster to our great Jianming Empire again. Fuck, which hospital is so immoral that it always lets mental patients run away? Nurse, that old patient ran away from the hospital again. Countless Jianming people collapsed again. If possible, they really wanted to rush into Pussy's mansion, tie him up and send him to the police station to check whether this old guy is a spy lurking in the Wangxin Empire. Wasn't the lesson of yesterday's pretense overturned enough? Oh, he would never give up until he had played the Jianming Empire crippled. The live broadcast began. The content of the live broadcast was the mission on Mars. Originally thought to be very boring content, but all the viewers found that they seemed to have thought too much, because those people in spacesuits were holding the flag and flagpole of the Jianming Empire in their hands. Especially when a certain astronaut deliberately gave a close-up of the Wangxin flag that was alone and fluttering in the wind. Everyone realized that the Jianming Empire must be preparing to do something big. Since the astronauts couldn't speak in their spacesuits, they couldn't interact with the audience in front of the TV, but even so, they still wrote down the mission with a marker. Mission 1. Plant the flag of the Jianming Empire on Mars. The astronauts came to the Wangxin flag. After a magical operation, the Wangxin flag was surrounded by the Jianming Empire flag. As the wind blew, the Wangxin flag fluttering in the wind was blocked from all directions by the fluttering Jianming flag. Pussy was overjoyed when he saw this scene and shouted wildly, "Oh, God, our Jianming flag is so beautiful and so desirable." As for deliberately blocking the Wangxin flag, this is just a competition. Even if they don't accept it, what can they do? If you have the ability, go to Mars now. Let's not talk about whether they have the ability to go to Mars. Even if they really go to Mars, the Jianming astronauts can beat the Wangxin astronauts and make them cry all the way back to the spacecraft. Right now, the Jianming Empire is broadcasting live to the world, using actual actions on Mars to slap the Wangxin Empire in the face, in order to regain the face it lost yesterday. They have done it, and the disgusting Wangxin flag will never be seen again. However, countless Jianming people can't cheer at all. Wow, it turns out that we blamed Pussy wrongly, but why am I not happy at all? This is the voice of the Jianming Empire. They are all afraid. They are afraid that it will be difficult to suppress their excitement now, and it won't take long for their faces to be swollen by the cruel reality. 10 minutes passed, half an hour passed. The misfortune of pretending to be overturned did not come as promised, and the flag of the Jianming Empire was still fluttering in the wind, and the sound of it began to awaken the restless hearts of countless Jianming people. Wow, 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 we Jianming people are so handsome on Mars. Immediately, countless Jianming people felt that they could be happy again, and felt that they could hold up their proud chests again. And the Jianming Empire's slap in the face directly caught the world off guard. Such competition is really despicable. However, no country in the world made a statement, because they all wanted to see what the Wangxin Empire's reaction would be, whether there was a spaceship, and whether the two empires would gradually develop into a contest on Mars. Here, the people of the Wangxin Empire were shocked and angry. After being messed up by the Jianming Empire, everyone felt a burning pain on their faces. Damn, Pussy is actually planning this. I'm so angry. Why didn't the Enterprise spacecraft disintegrate on Mars? Where is Lao Wang? Lao Wang must stand up at this moment and let the Jianming Empire know the anger from the Wangxin Empire. At this moment, the Wangxin Empire had only one emotion: shocked and angry. Jiangmin, Jiwan and Yangmin were so angry that their faces turned blue and white. They had to endure it. Now there is a spaceship that can land on Mars, but they don't agree to let the astronauts take their precious lives and spaceships as a joke and go to Mars to compete with the Jianming Empire to see who can plant more national flags. Many people in the spaceship base were looking at Lin Chen, as if waiting for some orders. You Jianming Empire like to play, right? I hope you can afford to play in the future. Lin Chen's face was not looking good either. The old man Pussy was indeed full of bad intentions all the time. Then, he took a deep breath and his face gradually became serious. What he meant by endure for a while and everything will be fine and take a step back and the sky will be wide open was all nonsense. The more he thought about it, the angrier he would get. The more he thought about it, the more he would lose.
You, the Jian Meng Empire, like to play like this, right? I hope you can play like you do now. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.